Good morning and welcome to a brand new day, a brand new week on RKW from a rain-soaked Gaylord Springs Golf Links here in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. RKW is brewed by Scooters Coffee at 104.5 The Zone. Locations all around you in Middle Tennessee, Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, Hormount, Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Alongside Ramon Foster, I am Will Bowling. Kayla with the morning off. Kirby Allen Kirby keeping us between the navigational beacons here at Gaylord Springs Golf Links. Justin Hawkins is back at our 104.5 The Zone studios. We are here for Backfield in Motion's charity golf tournament. And Ramon Foster, we're ready to have a good day at a golf tournament to start the week. How we doing?
Man, I'm good, man. Dude, I always like coming to the golf courses. I like looking at them, number one, because I can't play them very well at all. So I enjoy the greenness, the well-manicured greens and the grass and everything else. Plus, right now in Tennessee, everything is green because we're getting a ton of rain. So I like this time of year, man, where it's not too hot, too. But, yeah, glad to be out here for a good cause, too. Will.
Should be fun. Expecting a couple of guests who are going to stop by here in person. Dr. Kevin Dyson is going to make an appearance with us early. We've got to give Dr. Dyson a bigger cup of coffee when he gets here. Just have it sitting ready for him. He's going to come by at 7 o'clock because he tells me he's golfing today.
He is golfing.
So he's like, I got to get there, and we're still going to give him plenty of ample time to get the irons warmed up, the driver warmed up. Dr. Dyson, an excellent golfer in his own right, but he will join us early this morning. Reggie Barlow, the new head coach of Tennessee State football, the new head man of the TSU Tigers, is going to come by. Jim Wyatt at 8:20 this morning. Ramon, there were videos over the weekend of Cameron Ward, quarterback, Miami, throwing footballs to receivers in a Tennessee Titans uniform, albeit a practice uniform. This is what we call in social media thirst traps, is what these were for Tennessee Titans fans.
Yes, it was, man. And I saw a good bit of people reacting to it, enjoying what they were seeing. I saw also he was aggregated on some national sites, if that matters, the social media side of things. Number 1.1, man, was available for everybody to see finally for the first time, and it was good. I'll be honest with you. Everybody posted the quick snap of his ball that he delivered with, and of course, the Xavier Restrepo and his connection is always going to be on the forefront, even though Restrepo's the undrafted free agent, man. But I will say this. I know we talked a good bit about it whenever it happened, and I'd love to know the story behind his 40 time, but he didn't look like a 4.8 to me running out of his break.
I'm interested to ask Jim Wyatt about that because, Brian Callahan mentioned it too after the practice on Saturday and said, he didn't look like what he ran at his pro day. That's for sure.
And it's fascinating too because Cam Ward came out numerous times and he told every team that would listen to him, I want Xavier Restrepo. Also, but I doubt that this is the case. And I play conspiracy theories real quick with the X-File, however it goes, okay? But what if the sake of his career and just cohesion with a guy like Cam Ward, now I doubt this would be the case, but what if? I like to play this. We play the what if, the hypothetical.
Yeah, absolutely.
What if he ran a bad 40 just to kind of set this up, knowing that his size was going to be a thing?
I don't know. I don't know if I would live in
with
that
a quarterback
world because of how much money he would have lost.
He did.
Yeah.
And did. Right.
To me, like, as much as I would love my quarterback, I'd rather get paid and try to go learn how to play with a different quarterback.
Do you find yourself in the Edelman situation where if the brand and the quarterback is good and the amount of winning that you do, like what I'm going is the longevity of your career.
Right.
And the potential to win big if Cam Ward hits the way you need him. So the Brady effect is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
because
he's not Tom Brady.
Edelman, I know he's not.
Yeah.
No, not even a little bit. What I'm saying, the pairing with a quarterback that you know is going to take care of you.
Sure.
Because Cam has been lobbying for him for a while. To that
that's fair enough.
But
I'm willing to hear the argument, but I think there are not a lot of draft prospects that are tanking in any capacity just to go with their guy. It might work out for him. Like this could be his, here's the argument I will make based on what you're saying. I think there's an argument to be made that Xavier Restrepo's best chance to be successful as an NFL player is here with Cam Ward. Doesn't mean I would have chosen that if I were him in the pre-draft process, but this could be the timeline that we live in, the world that we live in, where he is his best version of himself.
Because the only reason I think of this is because there's no way a wide receiver his size, his athletic build, and what he did in college should ever run a 4.8.
I know. Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Not that that's the
because
case.
Jawan Jennings was not far away from him coming out of Tennessee. But Jawan Jennings is a much bigger player.
A much bigger, longer, has to grow in his body type of athlete.
Fair
That's the only reason I bring it up is for that matter right there, because with everything his ability to separate, his ability to beat defenses down the field after catching the football, it just kind of raised some eyebrows in that sense. Just like, did you want to go undrafted so you could pick where Cam went? Because if he was a 4-5 guy, a team was picking him up.
One thing I did really think was interesting, and Justin, if we have this audio, let's go ahead and use it. The Cam Ward talking about Restrepo not really helping him get settled in. I thought this was really interesting because there have been critics of the Titans bringing in Xavier Restrepo to make the point that Cam Ward needs to learn his other receivers, not just his receiver that he had at Miami. This was Cam on Saturday essentially agreeing with that.
I don't think he'll help me get settled in. I've known him for a whole year now. It's me more, opening up to my new teammates, them getting a chance to know me. And so, I know him X. I already have a connection with him. I got to connect, pieces with my other guys.
I think that's really smart by Cam, playing it that way. And I think he's already showing that he understands the politics beyond just the basics of showing up every day and putting your helmet on and throwing to the guy that's open. Understanding that, I already know Xavier Restrepo. I'm going to need to learn how to throw to some of these other guys is meaningful earlier in this process.
Yeah, because to your point, like the amount of talent that was drafted before Xavier Restrepo, I mean, they to me are first in line when it comes down to developing a guy like him. To me, Restrepo's just a part of the story that it could be real cool if those two dudes made open their roster. That's the story to me. And if he turns into a little bit more, especially across the middle, because here's the part about it. The Titans have Xavier Restrepo. His name is Tyler Lockett. Right? And he's the guy to me that plays the role of being able to get open, be quarterback friendly.
The technician.
Exactly, that you can build with. So it's to me, again, because of how talent slates itself. He got a long pathway as far as making the 53 Restrepo does. So it's just a matter of Cam being smart. And here's the other part, too. Listen to Cam talk. He's so doggone savvy with how he breaks down stuff. He's one of them dudes you just going to have to believe it when he show you types. Like him saying, like, it's not my point to just be comfortable because he's here. But if we see him going to him early and often, it's just like, well, did you really mean what you mean, Cam? But seriously, it's a great pairing to have. It's a situation where a wide receiver would love, because the ultimate question is it the wide receivers or is it the quarterback? And I feel like in this situation, it's the quarterback that makes his guys.
615-737-1045. It's streaming the show live this morning, 1045 The Zone TV, where the FNN Bank chat is open. Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Cam Ward did make his debut in Nissan Stadium over the weekend. A full Nissan Stadium for the Savannah Bananas. Like, it just feels like either half of Nashville was tourists who came here to see the Savannah Bananas play in a football stadium over the weekend, or Nashvillians who went and filled that thing up. Our good friend Buck Rising tweets out, someone's going to need to manage Cam's expectations about what crowds are actually like at Nissan Stadium.
Wow.
Buck, come on, buddy. He had a good time. Had a good time with 70,000 people. Why do we have to belittle this guy for having a great experience? And look, hey, if Cam Ward hits, if Cam Ward is what we think he could be, those crowds will be back. We will have very pro Titans crowds again. Let's start off on a positive, Buck. The guy's had one practice. Let's not already start to lower his expectations about what Nissan Stadium is like. Just let him dream a little bit.
Dude,
let us enjoy this a little bit.
I ain't gonna lie, I hate Buck for that, okay? Because I absolutely hate Buck Rising for that, because a portion of that is true.
Hater.
The hater. I'm talking about
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Hater of the year. Dude, it was hilarious. Like that was by far as Buck is a light troll.
Not a light troll. He's just a troll. we can call it like it is.
But I was just like that tweet kind of hits the mark a little bit. Like, but here's the other side of it to me, and I almost replied back to Buck. I said, Buck, that's a lie in my mind, because majority of the people are going to come to see Cam Ward because he's the #1 overall pick. So there's a lie in that tweet that Buck told. But it does, the sustainability of those crowds do really go down to the wins and losses that happen.
One response said, well, to be fair, he played at Miami. Cam Ward about took his team to the college football playoff last year in a half-full stadium. So Titans crowds are nowhere near as bad as Miami crowds
Absolutely
are. So I
not.
think he'll be all right. I think he'll be all right.
I mean, for a university right now in the athletic department that's overpaying for prospects to be there, yeah, like the Titans are in a better position than the Miami Hurricanes at this point.
One commenter on YouTube says, Will would prefer the Savannah Bananas over the NBA. No, I don't. When did I ever say that? I agree with our friend Tony Keeley, who says that sports aren't about fun little tricks. They're about hate. They're about hatred.
What's wrong with y'all, man?
No, it's not what's wrong with us. It's wrong with all these jersey-swapping Gen Z athletes who think they're supposed to love the other guy. No,
the
you
jersey
should hate your
swapping
opponent.
is where it gets
hate
me,
your
though.
opponent.
I couldn't swap with somebody after
No.
taking a loss to him. Like,
Absolutely
especially
not.
not on the field, holding them up like we both just won the championship in Vegas or something like that. Like, absolutely not. But I will say this though: if it's on Cam Ward, being the guy here, to pack that stadium up too with a product. Now it ain't just him, but if he's exciting enough, like that crowd is going to be there because you want to be a part of this journey. So it's a long way. By the way, the morning roast. That the Savannah Bananas is a part of that. And everybody else that didn't talk to me about this situation.
The Monday roast at 9:20 this morning.
Wait.
You'll need to stay locked in.
I had no idea.
Ready to go.
Had no idea.
615-737-1045 is our number. Line from Backfield in Motion's charity golf tournament here at Gaylord Springs. Backfield in Motion is dedicated to improving literacy and numeracy skills for at-risk youth, providing them with a strong foundation for higher education and future career success. After-school programs through sports. We love working with these guys every single year. We love being out here. Who knows who will stop by the table this morning here at Gaylord Springs Golf Links. 615-737-1045, though, with lots to get into in the Titans world as rookie minicamp takes center stage here in the Music City. We'll tell you what Jim Wyatt saw, as he writes at TennesseeTitans.com, and what Brian Callahan said about this specific camp coming up next.
Hey, do you want to look and feel better about yourself, especially going into these summer months? Well, it all has to do a little bit with your hair sometimes, right? And if you feel like you're thinning up top, this is a way to grow back fuller and thicker hair. Hey, it's Kayla. Winter We Grow Hair. It's almost been a year now, so I've been on the journey for a while. But what has been great is it has helped grow my hair back, and it's been the biggest confidence boost ever. You could get in on all the action now, 615-376-6010. We Grow Hair has been doing great work in Nashville for almost 30 years, and they've got every procedure when it comes to what you need for your hair growth journey. So if you want a lot of hair in just one procedure, you can get that. Their Artist Robotic FUE procedure offers that. Also, We Grow Hair's high-density hair transplants going to give you 2 times more hair in just one procedure. But maybe you're like me and you're just seeing a little thinning along the temple line. You can get in for your 45-minute laser treatments. They also have the PRP treatments. That's for both men and women. And you really start to see that hair grow back. Backed by the only company I trust for my thinning hair. I go to We Grow Hair at 615-376-6010 for a free consultation today. Or you could simply go online to wegrowhair.com.
RKW is brewed by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone. Live from Backfield and Motion's golf tournament here at Gaylord Springs Golf Links. Backfield and Motion's youth sports leagues offer a variety of sports: basketball, flag football, and volleyball after-school programs serving students in elementary and middle school, providing a safe and enriching environment for children to learn and grow. Check them out on Instagram, Backfield in Motion, where you can give them a follow, support them, and the great work they do around the Middle Tennessee community. 615-737-1045, Ramon Foster and Will Bowling. At TennesseeTitans.com, Jim Wyatt, Ramon, writes, Cam Ward looked smooth, throwing the football, rolling to his left and right during the rookie minicamp session that was open to the media. Says he has a pretty unique release. He showed off his throwing motion on Saturday, most of his throws of the short to mid-range variety. Nothing crazy that we saw on Saturday, but we did get to see Cam Ward in a Titans uniform for the first time, and that in and of itself exciting for this fan base.
It is, man, because there's a lot of work that goes into the draft in general. And when you got the number one overall pick that's a quarterback, that you can start to see the results of what you want from him, that's exciting, man. I know I just pretty much said the same thing that you said, but it's this to me. You picture building up the franchise. You picture what this guy can do for other people out there on the field. And not just that, man, like putting yourself with a guy like him, if he does hit, it not only saves your job, right, as far as being a professional, but it builds your legend, too, as a coach. Like, we're talking about a young guy, and I say young guy because Coach Brian Callahan is not that old, right? You're talking about a young guy that's trying to solidify himself as a valid coach in this league to help build a franchise up to where it hadn't been in a very long time, and it's a winning franchise. So this is huge, man, to actually see him do work, get here in the city, and I guess the optimism of it being May 12th or May 10th or 10th through the 12th this past weekend, what it could look like for years to come. So hearing what they're doing with them, the short intermediate throws, man, tells me again what it looks like for the plan for him. Not to give him too much, keep him in the box for a while, and then eventually unleash him by the time the season goes. You hope more than anything. It's going to be fascinating because Levis' situation to me I felt like was a lot early as far as the season goes, and it seems to me they're really trying to walk this thing down with Cam to say, hey, we're at step A and we won't get to see until 2, 3, 4 days from now. So it's fascinating.
What makes you think that?
Because, like, you're talking about the short intermediate throws.
Sure.
You don't hear Jimmy in this breakdown for what they were able to see this past weekend, him initially airing it out. I feel like last year with Levis, all we heard about is the arm, the arm, the arm. He's going to heave it down the field, and, hey, we got to watch this. With him, they seem to be going into what his tool set is going to be. We've heard about his quirky arm release, how quick he gets it out of his hand and stuff like that, and that seems to be the things they're allowing him to do right now more than anything, and especially, too, with the ability of not having all his wide receivers here.
Sure.
Go with what's comfortable. All of these guys are new wide receivers. There's no sense in trying to break it off and see them running 60 yards down the field to watch you drop a bomb. They're not into that right now is the way I feel.
Cam Ward did speak to the media on Saturday afternoon, talking about the route concepts, the footwork, and the challenges of his first NFL practice.
It's been the same route concepts, a little bit different footwork, but that's all comes with time and preparation. I got two, good coaches who continue to motivate me every day, and Coach Callahan and Coach Bo. And so, I think I got a good group of guys around me to help me as well. When I get a chance to meet the other quarterbacks in person, they'll continue to motivate me. I'll motivate them. And so I'm just ready, to put the pass on, get some time with the other vets when they get out here Monday.
Same route concepts, Cam Ward says, is a lot of the things he was doing at Miami. We'll hear Brian Callahan's take on that here in a minute, but surprising at all, how normal is that for a quarterback to come in and have a lot of the same concepts in his first rookie minicamp practice as he had as a senior in college?
This is what Callahan said. He said he would fit his offense to what his quarterback's strengths and weaknesses are, and that's essentially what he's doing. The best way to help somebody learn is to do what they've previously done, and it's cool for me for this reason. There's no reason to get him outside of his box. You want to see his skill set early and often right now. And I've always heard this too. No matter the quarterback, if you got a good one and you think he's being your franchise guy, you set the offense for what they want to do in general. I played with a guy, and we had how many offensive coordinators? 3. the offense didn't change for him
Sure.
at all. Once he learned his system, you change the names, you add a couple wrinkles here and there, a few concepts. Like the stuff that you change is how you call the plays or the audibles. But the genesis of what the plays are that the quarterbacks likes running, you get those no matter what. And it's kind of smart for the coaches too, because here's the other thing. You guys hear me say this often. Franchise quarterbacks are finicky. They just are.
Mm-hmm.
They like what they like. And you hear where he's willing to make change. The footwork, that's going to make him a little bit more efficient right there.
Sure.
But as far as like the routes that he knows and understands, it's smart for them to start with what he knows best. There's no reason right now, because you got to think, we're talking about in a college sense, right? Aguilar, been in a position where he's got to learn an entire new offense before the season kicks off. The best way for your quarterbacks to get the best out of them is to allow them to do the things that they're comfortable with right now, and you build off of that when you start seeing success. So that's why to me, and then you might say to yourself, well, that's a college offense. You picked them number one for a reason.
Yeah, so was the Commanders' offense that made the NFC Championship game last year. You think that wasn't a college offense?
I mean, think about what Chip Kelly did with Will Howard.
That's not
right?
really an insult anymore,
No.
saying, oh, you're just running a college system. All right, well, those kind of work. Like, I'll be honest with you, like most NFL teams are starting to run more RPO spread concept, quote-unquote, college systems than I think they even were 5 years ago.
I've heard all the time. Offenses trickle up, or stuff in and football trickles up. What they do in high school, you got to think about this. Most quarterbacks were under center. Now most quarterbacks are what? Clapping and never go under center. That started in high school because coaches wanted to be efficient. Then you go do that same thing in college, and you're now in a generation of football players. This is what they do. So why not carry those things over into the NFL?
That's fair.
It trickles up in
fair.
football.
So Brian Callahan, I thought, did a good job managing the expectations when talking about Cam Ward. I asked a similar question, I believe it was from ESPN's Teron Davenport, about watching the tape at Miami and immediately implementing a lot of those concepts for Cam right away here in Tennessee. Callahan had this to say.
A lot. There's a lot of watching of tape that's going on as far as what they've run. We have it all broken down. We have put it all in our terminology, so we know what concepts he's familiar with, and we have conversations about those as we install them. At the end of the day, we try to teach our system, the way we run it, and then we take input from Cam and all the quarterbacks for that matter, but on different things they've done, how they've called it, how they read it. It's sort of always an ongoing conversation. That's what's unique about quarterback rooms, is there's always room for a different viewpoint, different conversation on how they might have done something. So all that stuff is all part of those conversations, and we'll continue to see where we can make things easy, make things comfortable as much as possible.
I think it's interesting, Ramon, because Brian Callahan almost caught himself mid-answer there, talking about building an offense for his new quarterback. But this is also the same Brian Callahan that has kept Will Levis around, that wants competition in the quarterback room. And so saying that you've just built this entire scheme based on what Miami did last year, A, gives away what your offense is going to look like this year, and B, just hands Cam Ward the keys to the car his first day of having his driver's license. Yeah. He's going to have to wait till he's 17 or 18 before he can make those long drives across the state right now. He's going across to pick up groceries for the family. He's not making the long drives yet. No. And at this point, I think it's interesting how Brian Callahan's just not giving away everything. Because I think maybe this time last year, Brian Callahan was giving us a lot more answers to the test than he is right now. Yeah,
he is. And that's the growth that I honestly want to see from him, too. As far as like him being the coach that understands what the media needs to hear and what's for the team. And last year, he gave us a lot. And I felt like a little bit this year, too, if you listen, Callie, he'll do those same things. But with Cam, they have to, like you said, temper the expectation, the reality of where he's at, too. I don't think it was too much to say that they're asking what he's doing in Miami and how he went about building those concepts and what makes him comfortable, because there will be a portion of this offense where Callahan has to see him be better and get better and do more, too, because the other part is this. NFL defenses are not just simple. They're very complicated. And if you play at times, man, a predictable offense or concepts that don't grow legs anymore, you set yourself up for failure in those moments. But the genesis, the basis, the start of what they're doing right now, to me, should allow him, Cam Ward, as much success as it possibly can, even if it is simple. I know sometimes when stuff gets complicated and you've done a ton of losing, most offensive coordinators, coaches come into the room and say, let's go back to the basics.
Sure.
Right now is what they have to do. See what those basics do as far as, one, the NFL not knowing what they're capable of as an offense with Cam Ward, but two, making sure that Cam Ward understands we, as you like to say, stay within the navigational beacons of what we're asking you to do. The special stuff that you do, you're going to have time for that. You're the number 1 overall guy.
Sure.
You'll grow into that mode. And I think that's uber important because it has to be in the back of Callahan's mind, the fact that Levis is around. Like, I feel like that situation could have and should have been handled just a little bit better. With what we're talking about now, the expectation.
Meaning last season.
Last season.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll give Levis that, man. Like, it was too much trust, if that's the thing. Like you said, I trust my son driving, but this morning I'm worried about the rain. Are you ready for that? You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Or if we're going to a baseball tournament, am I allowing you to drive to Alabama?
The governor on that car should have been a little bit lower.
Last
what you're
year,
saying.
we talked about the Ferrari mindset, right? It seemed like this team was ready to go. That's the way I felt with the free agents, with the guys you brought in, with the legend of what Levis was. And it seems that switch has been turned off this year.
Yeah, there's a lot more expectation that Cam Ward is going to have to earn the right to do the crazy things.
Because last year with Levis, did you feel like?
We wanted Levis doing it right away. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the thing with Will was, we felt like the offensive line would be so much better. We felt like Calvin Ridley was, you finally had like a highly paid wide receiver.
Yeah.
You had Traylon Burks, who was healthy through camp for a lot of that process. You had, a lot of toys to play with, and you finally felt like you had joined 2024. You had joined the rest of modern football and having a fun offense.
Yep.
And the infrastructure of that offense was not in place for you to fully reap the benefits of having a young offensive-minded head coach.
Wasn't ready yet.
We learned that very quickly.
Yeah, we did. And of course, this is Callie's first time around the sun doing this type of stuff. So I think we all get super excited, and we have to have that reality check. So it's good to hear Callie being in that spot. But also, to me, it seems to me that, like Cam Ward's in his conversation, he understands it too. And it's going to be, to me, because we had Brian McFadden on last weekend. We were speaking about, Ben Roethlisberger coming through the same wheelhouse, essentially, when he said Ben didn't have to do anything with them. In his younger years, the team carried him a little bit more than him carrying the team. And I hope for this year for Cam Ward that those guys do step up, where you do have Tyler Lockett step up and do his thing and Calvin become a bigger, better leader. And him having Zeitler around. Think about the bodies that you have this year as opposed to last year with the respect and also the years in league. Because I look at Dan Moore as another one of those guys I've heard is a real good mentor to young players. So we'll see how that pays off too.
They still took some risks signing high upside, lower production guys. Like Dan Moore would fit into that category of a very high upside player. But they also, I think, more emphasized this season the high floor kinds of players.
Yeah.
Kevin Zeitler is a high floor player. Xavier Woods is a guy that you kind of know what you're getting. Like there are healthy, veteran, experienced pieces all around your both sides of the ball, your offense and your defense, that should raise the floor of this team. That is what 2025 is all about. Raise the floor of the team and set yourself up to where the ceiling can go up as Cam Ward gets more experience. Teron Davenport wrote on Twitter over the weekend, rookie minicamp notes, some interesting notes in here I want to get to. Said Cam Ward's release is unique, but the ball has some zip on it. I like that. Said Ward didn't like how Alec Iamanair ran an in-breaking route, so he called him back to run it again during routes on air. Xavier Restrepo was first in line for wide receiver drills. He is the most polished of the wide receivers here. ESPN's Teron Davenport. That is a guy who knows what he is watching. Not to insinuate any media members don't, but Teron especially knows what he is looking at. That is a bold sentence with two guys who were drafted wide receiver. I'm not disagreeing with it either from what Teron said. I think there's some truth to it. What is your take on Xavier Restrepo potentially being the most polished receiver right now at rookie minicamp?
But first thing first is Chimere DK and Alec Iamanair. fight that off. fight that
Lock
off.
in.
Lock in, y'all.
Yeah.
The pedigree in itself says that they're supposed to be better athletes and should have better careers than Restrepo, right? And here's the thing, too. I think a lot of this fan base is going to want to see Restrepo be good, and I think a lot of the media will, too, because the story that it can mean of, hey, you brought your guy along and look at him, and he was no. Undrafted stories, I love those. But those guys were drafted where they were for a reason. And I need those dudes, man, to be as big of playmakers than the loud conversation come from Restrepo to me. Because they can find themselves behind the 8 ball if they see the public optics of Cam and Restrepo together. But what I will say to give credit to Restrepo is this. He's fought this battle his entire life. He's been an undersized guy. He stayed in Miami over 4 years. He's got records in Miami with a bunch of great guys. Right now, there's context there to that, too.
For sure.
Those dudes left early. Restrepo had to stay. And then it's also the attachment to Cam that most think is the reason why he should be successful. So I'll say this, too. Restrepo also has to be in his own wheelhouse and doing his own thing, too, because he can't solely rely upon Cam Ward to make him a star too.
Yeah.
But if I am DK and if I am Aya Maynor, fight that.
It's interesting because
it's going to be loud.
For a slot receiver who is buried in the depth chart behind another potential slot in Tyler Lockett, Xavier Restrepo is going to have to learn how to do something else besides just catch footballs, or he's going to have to be really dang good at catching footballs to make this roster. Like, the bar for him as a wide receiver, and that's it, to make this team is really dang high because you already have another receiver in Tyler Lockett who is not going to play special teams. Yeah. So Restrepo was one of the guys who worked at punt returner as well over the weekend. Teron Davenport writing that too. Let me pull that back up. Mentioning, I believe, I know the undrafted Virgil Lemons from West Florida, who we've talked a lot about, who averaged 25 yards per punt return last season at West Florida. Was one of those guys. Chimere Dike and TJ Sheffield, the 4 guys who are back on punt return. And that's before the veterans are even in the mix. And Brian Callahan mentioned they just had their rookies at this year's rookie minicamp. Had some guys that were eligible they decided not to bring in. That's going to be challenging for Xavier Restrepo to make this roster, considering that you already have a couple of other receivers who are not going to be special teamers, so you're going to have to contribute on special teams in some way.
Yeah, he has to. And that's where, if true, his 4.8 speed could probably hurt him in a sense, because when you're the gunner on the punt team, you got to be one of the first ones down there. If you're getting beaten to the sideline and pushed over out of bounds, then you're not productive. And to your point, most rookie undrafted guys, they got to live by motto. The more you can do, the longer you stay around. Sure. And if he's only doing one thing, to your point, he better be really good at receiver.
615-737-1045 is our number. More on Rookie Minicamp as the show continues today. But when we come back in Knoxville over the weekend, Vanderbilt takes 2 out of 3 with a rain-delayed rubber match yesterday. We'll recap it for you next.
It's Ramon Foster for All-American Pest Control. Good people, it is that time of the year when bugs become buggier, and it's also the time of year when I am oh so happy to have All-American Pest Control. They take great care of me and my family and have for years now, man. We want every single bug that's around the house gone, man. I'll allow an occasional spider or two, because I like to watch them do work with their webs and everything. But here's the thing. We are set up on All-American's Complete Care Max program for pest control, mosquitoes, termites, and yard. What I love is this. If a pest gets inside, all I got to do is call them. They send their pest experts back out to treat the inside of the house for no extra charge. It is amazing. I promise you guys. Reach out to a company that I trust, man, and is local, man. You can visit their website at yuckbugs.com. That's yuckbugs.com.
RKW brewed by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone continues, wrapping up hour number 1 here live from Gaylord Springs Golf Links for the Backfield in Motion Golf Tournament. Their sports programs emphasize the importance of academics and encourage students to prioritize their schoolwork. Programs that help kids not only improve their physical fitness, but also teach important life skills such as teamwork, leadership, and sportsmanship. Follow them on Instagram, Backfield in Motion, or any of their other social media platforms. With Ramon Foster, I'm Will Bowling. Ramon, we have got the first NFL game of the 2025 season official.
Yeah.
Wednesday is schedule release day in the NFL, which means it is schedule release week. The NFL is very good at taking an event that really isn't an event and making it an event. And this morning, it has been announced that the NFL season will begin on Thursday, September the 4th, as the defending Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles, host the Dallas Cowboys.
It's fitting open up the season with those. The world champion having it, and the Dallas Cowboys with all the hoopla that they continuously have around here. This is either going to be really good for Jerry Jones, or you're going to have Eagles fans talking to him while he's sitting in his suite again, man.
It's a tough way for the Brian Schottenheimer era to begin in Dallas. Like, oh, man, set expectations right off the jump here against the best team in the NFL on the road in primetime.
And it's going to be lively there. Again, they get very up close and personal in Philly. But here's what we do know, man, as the NFL is built on these type of rivalries, and to have this one be an opener, NFC East, a classic game, two of those legacy teams too, with one of them being the world champion and the other one, who was it? I saw somebody say in this lifetime we've seen Jaden Daniels be born, grow up, get drafted, win the Heisman, and go to the playoffs all before the Dallas Cowboys did in his entire
NFC Championship game.
And made it to the NFC Championship game before the Dallas Cowboys did. I say that to say they are chasing not just the Eagles anymore, and the lead up to it being as big. Say what you want to about the Cowboys. The big networks like talking about them.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what the league wants, man. A lot of hype behind the opening weekend.
So the NFL's broadcast partners will announce select games starting today. NBC announcing some select games on the Today Show. Fox announcing some select games this morning, as well as Prime Videos. So you'll learn some of the Thursday night games today. You'll learn some of those Fox marquee games as well. ESPN tomorrow will have select games on their network announced on Good Morning America. And Good Morning Football, the NFL Network, will have its international games announced tomorrow. So, again, a reminder of what those are. You've got 2 regular season games in London at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, home of the 16th place team in the Premier League, where the Jets and the Browns will be the designated home teams. 1 game in Berlin for the Indianapolis Colts. They are so bad, Anthony Richardson at quarterback, that England said pass, so they sent him on to Germany. I kid, kind of.
What's wrong with you,
One
man?
game in Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu, home of Real Madrid, featuring the Miami Dolphins. Dublin will have the Steelers as the designated home team. The Chargers in Sao Paulo in Brazil, and then the Jags returning to Wembley, where they will have a home game as a part of their multi-year commitment to playing a game in the UK. So, all the international games that will be announced tomorrow.
Chances of the Titans playing in one of them probably goes to the Browns.
I would say the Browns game is pretty much your only chance. I think I'd be surprised if they put a division game in Europe. I don't know off the top of my head how many times they've done this, or Jags.
Yeah, Colts or Jags.
The London Jaguars, and they're home away from home. So I guess there are 3 opponents playing in Europe who are on the Titans' list of opponents for 2025. The Colts, the Jags, and the Browns. I think your really only chance to be in a London game this year, or a European game, is playing the Browns as the road team at Tottenham.
Absolutely. Which they've previously played in.
Which they did 2 years ago. That would
sure
surprise me if they went back to them that quickly. However, I do think the Titans will be in Europe this season or next season, because the league will not want to take away a home game in a brand new stadium once new Nissan Stadium opens. So don't be surprised if they end up there in 2026.
Yeah, did we get hints of that 2 years ago that they were going to, or the Titan was the host team the first time
There
around?
was a hint just because it had been so long from the last time they'd been there, because the last time before 2 years ago was Mike Vrabel's first season. Because that was the last game before Derrick Henry became Derrick Henry. After the Titans went for two to go for the win late and didn't get it. And Derrick didn't have a good performance. And that was when his talk with Eddie George happened.
That's when the demon was woke up, huh?
Yeah, that's
Awakened.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
What's crazy, though, to me is how the NFL is – we're talking about a schedule release, right? Every sport does
It's an event.
this. But the NFL made it an event. They got something every single day leading up to it, even so much so like their new partnership with Netflix is a part of the schedule release on Wednesday. That, to me, just signifies or just shows how big the brand has become. Now, I know here's the other thing. There's two different worlds of football. There's football, and then, of course, there's American football. Has American football gotten that big globally to where we can just say, here's a rollout of a worldwide schedule, essentially. Yeah. And not just that. We're going to put it on all you guys' TVs and make it a big event. Like, this is I never saw the league getting to this point. I'll be quite honest with you.
Over the weekend, Vanderbilt takes 2 out of 3 from Tennessee baseball in Lindsey Nelson Stadium. The Vols have now lost 5 of the last 6 SEC series. Tennessee is now 2-5 in rubber games this spring. At Alabama, at Ole Miss, the only ones of those that they have won this season. Tennessee has not won a series-deciding Game 3 at home all season.
Terrible.
Vanderbilt took it to them. Give them credit. Colin Barcy with the 2 home runs yesterday. Vandy, who is not known for the long ball, they used the long ball to beat Tennessee yesterday. Had 4 home runs. Tennessee is not close to what it was last season. And last season's team was so good with their backs against the wall at winning a series. That team lost 1 series the entire season. This group does not have that same edge when the chips are down that last season's team did, and that is the difference between being a good baseball team and a great baseball team. Right now, Ramon, I'm not even sure this is really a good baseball team.
I don't think so either. You got Coach Vitello calling out his pitchers. Mark
He's trying
Phillips.
everything right
He's
now.
doing everything. He didn't even call him by his name. Call him the other guy. That right there is just wake up.
Yeah, his quote about Marcus Phillips, if you missed it, Vandy stole 8 bases on Saturday. He said, well, we didn't really do anything wrong. Cannon threw 2 guys out. Cannon Peoples, the catcher, said the other guy's going to have to learn how to deal with that. Otherwise, he won't pitch anymore.
Yeah, and here's the other part, the way I view this team, too, as we up against it. One, it's embarrassing, number one, to come off a championship season like that, and the expectation you feel like you have for a team that I'll say this, I think has more talent.
Yes.
I think
on
they
paper.
have just more numbers of talent, too, but their skill set and leadership of what their team had last year is not even there. Now, here's the other side. It seems to me Tony Vitello recruits this type of guy, too, that's going to be very talented and that saves you in times. But here's what happens when you go against good teams. The skill, the teaching, the coaching has to be there all time, no matter what the talent is. And I don't think with this group watching the series that they've dropped, their skill has shown up to match their talent.
Yep.
Those guys are throwing back to first base and hitting the ball off of runners and giving up extra bases and stuff. Like, it's those little small things that you say, you can catch that ball. But
they don't play their best in big moments.
No, absolutely not, man.
And to be honest with you, I think it was embarrassing the way they tried to clear the dugout and start a scuffle after the game. Where was that fight for the 18 innings before that?
Embarrassing.
Seriously.
It was.
Unless your name was Hunter Ensley or Andrew Fisher, you had no room to talk about anything that happened on that field. I know Hunter kind of started a little bit of it, but I thought that was poor from Tennessee in their program.
It was.
Trying to start a fight after that. You lost on your home field. If you wanted to defend your home field, if you didn't want them to celebrate on your home field, win the game.
Don't lose.
Win the day. Don't throw it to the front row behind first base on a pickoff. Like, you had control over Vanderbilt celebrating on your field. They didn't take advantage. You don't get to start a fight afterwards.
No, you don't get to run the bases talking trash.
It's one thing
Absolutely
for Tennessee
not.
to carry themselves the way they do when they win, but they're not winning right now. So it's time to take your lumps and go back to the drawing board and for Tony Vitello to say, who wants to play where? Let's see. Who wants to go in the lineup where? Who wants to lead off? Who wants to hit second? It is literally drawing board time for Tennessee at a time that you do not want to be going back to the drawing board.
He's trying like freshmen are getting into the
Blake Grimmer, and those were 2 of their best players yesterday. Blake Grimmer and Levi Clark.
Crazy.
No doubt about it. 615-737-1045 is our number. Dr. Kevin Dyson going to stop by coming up in hour number 2. Reggie Barlow, the coach of TSU football, is going to be here. We are live from Gaylord Springs Golf Links at Backfield and Motions Golf Tournament. We'll talk more Titans and rookie minicamp when we come back right here on 104.5 The Zone.
We love being part of the moments that matter, which is why we're announcing employee pricing for everyone. You pay what we pay. Employee pricing at Two Rivers Ford. Locally owned, American made.
It is 7:02 from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Good morning. I'm Justin Hawkins. Rookie minicamp wrapped up this weekend, and it was the first time Cam Ward put on Titans gear. On Saturday, Cam Ward spoke to the media about his excitement to get started with the Titans vet and what he wants to be known as.
I'm just talking about business. I really want to be a pro. I want to be one of the great ones, and I just want to be a good teammate at the end of the day. I want to win a lot of football games in my career, and I'm excited to be around good vets like Ridley, good guys up front like Lloyd and JC and those guys. So I'm excited, and I'm ready to get to work with them come next week.
In other NFL news, New Orleans Saints quarterback Derek Carr announced his retirement from the NFL on Saturday after 11 seasons. The 34-year-old suffered a shoulder injury last season, and after multiple medical evaluations, it could have resulted in him missing the entire 2025 season. Instead, Carr, a four-time Pro Bowler and a second-round draft pick to the Raiders back in 2014, opted for retirement. The Saints drafted 25-year-old Tyler Shuck out of Louisville in the second round in this year's draft, and he'll compete for the starting job with Spencer Rattler and Jake Hayner. In the MLS, the Nashville SC beat Charlotte FC Saturday night at Jonas Park 2-1 with goals from Hani Mukhtar and Jacob Schaffelberg. With the win, Nashville has reached 20 points within the first 12 games for the first time in the club's history. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
RKW 104.5 The Zone, brewed up by Scooters Coffee, a fresh hour of the program here on this Monday morning, live from Backfield in Motions Golf Tournament at Gaylord Springs Golf Links. We love working with these guys and the great work they do in our Middle Tennessee community, dedicated to improving literacy and numeracy skills for at-risk youth, providing them with a strong foundation for higher education and future career success. Using sports as a motivator for academic achievement, recognizing sports can be a powerful tool for building discipline, teamwork, and goal-setting skills. Dr. Todd Campbell in the mix here today.
Yeah.
Dr. Kevin Dyson going to stop by here in just a moment. Ramon Foster, we're having a good morning.
Well, you are having a good morning, man. Well, some people you just love to see because they brighten your day up a little bit by their
That's
presence. Right. That's Kevin Dyson, man. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I'm not sure if you see it's the shine off the gray beard now or the smile behind the beard, but you see Dyson, you just like, man, you a cold dude, man. You just cool is the way you view folks like him, man. So it'll be good to have a conversation with him. Look like they're making him check in right now at the golf tournament. I figure his face card would be enough to get him through these type of events. You know what I'm saying? It's just
That's
one
right.
of the most important figures in Nashville.
That's right. The Nashville sports legend.
Yeah, Nashville. Look, he must have heard us bragging about him, Will.
There he is. The man himself, Dr. Kevin
Look
Dyson.
at that smile, man.
Going to join us here. Look, as much as we're talking about wide receivers for the Tennessee Titans and a rookie minicamp that's going on, and a guy wearing number 87 at that rookie minicamp, Xavier Estrepo, doing well. What's up, Dr. Dyson?
Man, nothing, man. I'm doing well. How y'all doing, man?
Well, first of all,
it's been a minute since I've been on the show.
Look at feel the energy behind Dyson sitting down.
I'm much more awake immediately. I'll tell you what, well, we got to thank you for joining us early. I know 7 a.m. is an early wake-up call to be out here. You ready to warm up for the golf tournament?
It's all good, man. I'm getting older, so I get up 4:30 in the morning, getting my workout in.
Wow.
And so I was up, came up here. Took me a little personal day from work, man. Get to support a good cause, man. So,
Absolutely.
Got a lot of energy, man. I already got my workout in. I'm good.
Yeah. See, I told you
That's good stuff.
One, train yourself to get up that early. It sucks, but when you get up and you get going, you're good to go. When is your crash time? Around what time in the evening?
I'm old, so we're gonna say about 9 o'clock if I make it at 9.
9 is still good.
That's still good.
Okay, all right, yeah.
I force it sometimes. Try to make myself stay up to about 10.
Feel like an adult.
So I feel like I'm doing something different, but about 9 o'clock it starts hitting me a little bit.
And that's all right.
Yeah.
We lied to ourselves as kids trying to stay up to 12, okay? Yeah.
So I fight. Man, there's been plenty of times I've been laying there and I wake up, the TV's still going. I'm like, dang, what happened? So it's all good.
Tired. You tired. That's what happened.
Kevin Dyson with us this morning. So Cam Ward's a quarterback.
Yeah.
Rookie minicamp. Cool to see him kind of throwing in a Titans jersey, albeit a practice jersey over the weekend.
Yeah.
How excited are you about this team right now?
Man, I love some of the moves they made in the draft and in the offseason. I mean, it's hard not to be excited. When we've seen the management change or GM change and things of that nature over the years, I think each time we kind of watch what they do that first time out, that first opportunity to lead an organization, whether it be Rand or before Rand and JR and currently, man, it's been what is their emphasis? Some of them it was gathering draft picks and getting depth. Some was moving salary cap and trying to get quality. And I think this was a mixed bag, a little bit of both. I thought they were trying to obviously had a clear plan offensively. I think they want to score points. This league, if you look at the past Super Bowl champions, or at least the past 10 years, offensively, they've been in the top 5, top 10 in scoring, and probably in same in defense too, but in scoring specifically. And it's an offensive league, and you got to be able to put points on the board. So it's exciting, man. I like some of the moves they've made for sure.
Dice, when you look at the situation, we spoke about it a little bit earlier, man. Teron Davenport said that Xavier Restrepo, the undrafted wide receiver, is probably the most polished. And Will asked me my opinion. I was like, the other two guys got to fight that off. Yeah. You guys are a very special group, man, and you get labeled as divas, et cetera, right? Because you're dependent upon catching the ball. For a guy that may be more polished early but undrafted, how do those two drafted guys, Alec Ayumaner and also Chimere Dike, deal with potentially Restrepo getting more fanfare? How would you walk through this?
Well, again, when I hear that word more polished, I equate it to route running ability, right? He's an inside guy. Yeah. You don't have to be as shifty and crafty on the edges, on the numbers. You got to have a little bit because, formation, you're going to move it inside and things of that nature. So what they're talking about is him being able to move the chains. We've seen guys come in undersized, being able to move chains, and we got excited about him, and then it didn't pan out. Right. I'm not saying it's not going to pan out, but I think when they're talking about more polish, he's a route runner. He's had to. He's small. He's got to be able to get that separation. He's got to be able to do some things because he's not going to win the 50-50 balls downfield all the time. He's not going to go over the top of 6'1", 210-pound corner. He's got to be able to create separation. So that's that polishness that they're talking about. But the two guys on the outside are playmakers.
Yeah, right.
They're big body guys. You see them making the 50-50 catches, the big balls downfield. So there's that distinction. So I only see them competing for a route spot in the sense that they're competing for the same type of responsibility. I think we're talking about two different responsibilities. We're talking about a guy's going to move the chains in the slot, in the visibility of the quarterback much quicker, and the guys is going to be able to get vertical like a PWI was back in the day.
So with Restrepo, Kevin Dyson with us here. So the 4.8 that he ran at his pro day, how much does that concern you at the wide receiver position? If that's really how fast he is, and it's not a injury reason why he ran that slow.
Well, I give you both sides of the equation. Jared Rice was a 4.6, but he was also 4.6 on that football field.
Yeah, exactly.
All time. And he was on the field. He was on the field with Dion. Dion didn't catch him from behind, so I'm just going to put that out there. But the other part of it is everybody in this league can run. Everybody's fast. And it's just a matter how that translates to when you put the pads on. There's guys that are 4.2 with their pads off. They get on the field, they play like they're 4.8. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. And so, but he plays quick, he plays fast, he's able to get separation. So, he's not a home run hitter, obviously. Right. He don't have that speed, but I think he has enough quickness and things that he can make a home in the NFL, whether it's here or somewhere else.
So is it more important for separation or speed?
Oh, absolutely.
Separation matters more.
Absolutely. If you can't separate from corners, and Ron, it's that separation. We're talking literally inches. We're not talking feet.
NFL Open.
NFL Open. And you got to be able to make those catches with guys hanging on you. You know what I mean? I saw a clip the other day, and the dude was like, man, the difference between college and pro is, I catch a ball, and I think I'm about to turn upfield and make things happen. And as soon as I turn, I get hit, like, whop. And I was like, yeah, that's NFL. That's how fast guys are. You know what I mean? And they recognize things a lot quicker and things of that nature.
Is that being the case then an adjustment for the quarterbacks too? On how to be precise with the ball, because they're saying right now, for the most part, the reports are they're walking Cam through pretty much his ability to throw where he's throwing. Is that a part of the growth for the quarterback?
Throwing guys open. The guys that are masterful at that, and I'll go even back. One of the best guys I saw ever at this was Dan Marino. I saw him throw a comeback with the DB draped on his receiver, and he put it literally in the one spot that his guy can catch the ball and caught it for him, a 20 to 18-yard comeback. And I was just like, that's unbelievable. John Elway, Dan Marino, Brett Favre, Manning, Brady, and those are guys around my era. And I'm saying that is the difference in the really, really good ones and the great ones, because they're able to throw their guys open. Drew Brees, I can go down a list of guys that, and I'm not diminishing what those receivers done, because they were good in their own right. But when you got quarterbacks like that, it makes your job a whole lot easier to receive. I don't have to be a mile open. I just give me a spot where I got room to be able to make the catch, and that's what them guys had the ability to do. And I think that's where some of these young guys are trying to get to, whether it's here, Chicago, D.C., or whatever. We've got a lot of young quarterbacks that are making a name for themselves, and hopefully we got a guy that's going to kind of go through that trend, whether you talk about even Houston and Stroud, who was able to have success early on in his career in being able to make tight throws. So that's what you hope translates for Cam.
What can Tyler Lockett add into this offense at this point in his career?
Another chain guy.
Yeah.
And he's shown in his career he's able to get vertical a little bit too, make some plays downfield, but he's a guy that moves chains. He's able to get separation. He's a route runner. He sets you up really well.
Sure.
Very quick feet, and I think that is why he's been able to last as long as he has, his longevity. And he doesn't drop a whole lot.
Right.
He makes a lot of catches. So that's going to bode well for him. And it's a safety net. I mean, quarterbacks love that safety net between the hashes, whether it be a tight end or a slot guy that I can go to, he's going to make this play. And that could be a tight catch or not. So I think that's the value of Lockett.
It's so interesting. The receivers that are just athletic freaks at early points in their careers, they don't age quite as well when they don't have an athletic advantage anymore. Like you talk about Julio Jones very late in his career. Amari Cooper, we just kind of saw fall off a cliff a little bit last season in Buffalo, when he doesn't have that added level of explosion and speed over a much younger defensive back. A guy like Lockett has never been that kind of guy, though. Like he's very good at knowing when to go out of bounds, knowing when to just kind of slide and fall, and knowing how to fall and how to be tackled. I imagine is a skill you've got to learn in order to have that longevity that he's had in his career.
I'm telling you, that's what it is. What's the receiver from JP2 that played in the league? Golden Tate. He's another guy. Very similar.
100%.
He was very similar like that. He wasn't the fastest guy, wasn't the most explosive, but he knew his skill set, knew his body, was able to move the chains, and had that long career because of it. And I think Lockett's another guy similar to that. They know their skill set, they know their strengths, and they leverage those strengths with their quarterbacks and make plays and keep the chains moving.
Coach Brian Callahan has somewhat hinted that they're, doing some of the things that Cam Ward did in college. Is that smart as it pertains to getting – my stance was, well, that's what he was successful with. So you build on that and then incorporate your offense with him later. Is that the best pathway for him, is to find what are you comfortable with and going from there, and why?
Yeah, if you go back to Mariota's first couple years, and they incorporated some of that zone read, flash, RPOs, guys right in front of it, and how successful he was early on. Then he got a new offense coordinator. They tried to make him be what they needed him to be, put him in the box. That didn't work well. Got another offense coordinator and head coach. That didn't work well. But when they were able to manipulate the offense to fit his skill set, he was highly successful. And people forget how good he was in the first 2 years. He was really good. He was a really good quarterback. And I think that is a smart head coach, a play caller, like what is he good with, and then we'll build from there. Because if I make him fit into our little box, that might not work for him.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You got to be able to do what this guy has ability to do. He's going to have strength and have success with, and then build from there. And I think that's why you see guys like Stroud and Daniels, and even my guy Cam Williams in Chicago, when they finally were like, okay, this one, he had lots of success.
Totally.
That makes sense, man. And like I said, we had changed offensive coordinators 3 times in Pittsburgh. And every time, maybe a play call or two, maybe a little wrinkle, but the calls didn't change.
No.
Because when you got the quarterback, you do what they want.
Yep, exactly. And I think smart play callers, management, coaching staffs, they incorporate that quarterback or that in that, like, play calling, even in practice. You see guys, let's get this practice script. What do you want to work on? What do you want to run? How can we incorporate what you do well? This is the defense, this is the front they run. And you kind of incorporate, and now it's not the learning curve becomes shorter. Because now he's a part of that process. Now he's not guessing what Chicago's defense is doing or what the Jaguars defense is doing. He's in on that thought process, and here's what they do on third down, and this is what kind of routes I'd like to throw versus this on this down and distance and things of that nature. And that's just wise head coach right there.
Sure. Last one for you, Dr. Dyson. Will Levis is still in the room. There's going to be competition in training camp with 4 quarterbacks. You got Brandon Allen, Tim Boyle, Will Levis, and obviously Cam Ward. How challenging is that for a group of young wide receivers to have so many quarterbacks trying to build chemistry with them? And is Levis a distraction at this point to where the Titans should make a move and get something for him to not take away from Cam in training camp?
I'll answer the first one first. We don't care.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know.
I just want an opportunity. I just want an opportunity to throw me the ball.
As long as that ball arrives, it doesn't matter who's throwing it.
That's it. But, there's definitely a preference. There's certain quarterbacks that put the ball and throw it on time and give you opportunities to make plays, and they have their favorites. And I'll give you an example. Neil O'Donnell loved to throw outside the numbers. McNair loved to throw inside the numbers.
Sure.
Until later in his career. Then he went outside. But so there was definitely a preference from a receiver standpoint, like, oh, Neil's in. The ball's coming my way. You know what I mean? Especially early in my career.
That's awesome.
So from a receiver standpoint, no. But I think the coaches got to manage this whole thing with these young quarterbacks, especially what happened with Will, and hopefully they learn from what happened from Will, from the experiences. Because I said it on the post-game show. Man, somebody need to check on Will. He was saying some of the right things, but his body language and actions were saying something totally different. Totally. You can tell he lost that confidence, and you can tell he really lost that swagger about him where he wasn't sure what to do anymore. And then you go from between 2 different staffs and expectations, and then the fans are jumping on him, and the media's jumping on him, and he's on Twitter saying, this doesn't bother me, and I'm doing this, I'm eating mayonnaise, and all the things, right? It was too much. And I really think that affected him mentally. And I don't know what the process is for him from here, if they're really considering bringing in another veteran and getting rid of him. I don't know. But I truly believe you don't invest the capital in number 1 pick overall in a young quarterback and him not be your day one. You can't do that anymore. Right. That's just the day and age where we're in. When the guy goes number 1 overall, he's your day one starter. It's just now we're bringing him up to speed. And so I don't know what that leaves for Levis. I don't know if he's a quality number 2 in this league. I think he definitely has some skill sets and ability. I don't know how they view him. I think he could be a quarterback in this league because you don't have the ability that the man has and not be able to be a substantial pro in this league. So do the Titans feel like it's the right fit for him to back up Cam Ward? So I'm rooting for him, man. Rome, man, we be in this league. I'm rooting for everybody, every free agent, everybody, man, because it's a rare opportunity, man.
Totally.
You're 1% of 1%. And to get opportunity to play in this league, man, for as long as you can, man, I'm rooting for every last one of those guys, man, because it is not for long, and that's the true essence of the NFL. And you get an opportunity to play a kid's game for a king's ransom, man, and I'm rooting for every last one of them.
Well, he's got 2 spots he can go to, Pittsburgh or New Orleans at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, I joke about that, but there's a market
there
now.
is, especially New Orleans. I mean,
there's a market.
And you look at, you give an example of a first round pick with a exact opposite kind of trajectory. You look what's going on in New York. Like Dart coming in, he's got 2 veterans that have had substantial success in this league.
Sure.
What did they do? He's not a day one starter, I would assume. Right. He gets to kind of process and grow up and develop and become a starter in this league. We assume, right? Vastly different for Cam Ward. You're coming in, you're the savior, and how does he handle that? And so I think how the Titans manage him and get him going, how they use plays. I think they need to look at what happened with Cam Williams, what happened with Daniels, what happened with Stroud. Evaluate, look at them, talk to coaches. How are you developing those young guys? Why were they so successful? And Daniel was in the run for MVP through his whole rookie career. So, his whole rookie season. So it's going to be interesting, man. I'm excited.
Always going to catch up with our good friend Dr. Kevin Dyson here at the Backfield in Motion Golf Tournament, Gaylord Springs. I know you're a big proponent of what Backfield in Motion does, and just a great cause to have after-school programs, have sports, have that outlet for kids, and a great cause here today.
And I think one of the things we leave as you get older, you start realizing the impact you leave behind, whether it be at an organization like the NFL or even in a high school or even in organizations for the community. I think what Backfield in Motion has done for marginalized groups of kids over the past decade and plus is substantial, man. It's for all the people that come out here and support organizations like that, man, to give back and support that a specific group of kids, man, is special. And I'm always proud to put my name on top of it and hopefully bring people out and golf and enjoy it. And although today the rain just stopped, so we're good there.
Right. Got a window.
Looking for the heavy stuff's not coming down for a while. We're hoping for a little window.
We got a little bit of window to about 1 or 2, so we'll see if we get it. So, but man, I'm always happy to put my name attached to it and share that, man, and be a part of it.
Fantastic. Dr. Kevin Dyson, our guest. Appreciate you coming by.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it, man. Y'all act like I can't be on the show no more. They used to invite me all the time, man. You know, they used to invite me all the time, Kurt, man. You know, you know how it is, man. They became big. They go up in the city of Nashville, one of the top shows in Nashville. Now the old doctor can't get on there, man. I see how it goes.
That's crazy. Act in public.
All right. Fair enough. Dr. Kevin Dyson officially back in the heavy rotation.
Back in rotation, yeah. You out here getting we're going to play you like a Kendrick Lamar album, man. You keep on. We're going to keep running the back.
Come on.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all. Anytime y'all want me, just call me.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Dr. Kevin Dyson is with us. More RKW coming up after this. Hey, what's going on? It's Will Bowling. Are you having some electrical issues? Well, available 24/7. The Lee Company team handles electrical problems and more in short order. From routine repairs on outlets and switches to fixture upgrades, you got generator installations, you name it, Lee Company does it. They're award-winning electricians. They'll get the job done right the first time. Contact Lee Company for all your home electrical needs at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com to schedule with an experienced technician and an experienced electrician for a company that has got over 80 years of experience here in Middle Tennessee. Lee Company has been trusted since 1944. I work with them because I love that they're always open. 24/7, whatever your issue is, you give them a call, 615-567-1000. They are there at a moment's notice to help you quickly and efficiently. So if your home's having some electrical issues, call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or head online and check them out there at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need.
Hey, do you want to look and feel better about yourself, especially going into these summer months? Well, it all has to do a little bit with your hair sometimes, right? And if you feel like you're thinning up top, this is a way to grow back fuller and thicker hair. Hey, it's Kayla. Winter We Grow Hair. It's almost been a year now, so I've been on the journey for a while. But what has been great is it has helped grow my hair back, and it's been the biggest confidence boost ever. You could get in on all the action now, 615-376-6010. We Grow Hair has been doing great work in Nashville for almost 30 years, and they've got every procedure when it comes to what you need for your hair growth journey. So if you want a lot of hair in just one procedure, you can get that. Their Artist Robotic FUE procedure offers that. Also, We Grow Hair's high-density hair transplants. It's going to give you 2 times more hair in just one procedure. But maybe you're like me and you're just seeing a little thinning along the temple line. You can get in for your 45-minute laser treatments. They also have the PRP treatments. That's for both men and women. And you really start to see that hair grow back. Backed by the only company I trust for my thinning hair. I go to We Grow Hair at 615-376-6010 for a free consultation today. Or you could simply go online to wegrowhair.com.
RKW on 104.5 The Zone is brewed by Scooters Coffee, locally owned near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. We are live this morning from Gaylord Springs for Backfield in Motion's 2025 golf tournament. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling. Kayla's got the morning off. 615-737-1045. Great to catch up with Dr. Kevin Dyson.
It was, man. He dropped a lot of little nuggets right there I thought was very fascinating, and his approach to wide receivers, competition, and also the quarterbacks, man. Just the mindset of a wide receiver. Just give me the ball.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very fascinating. I appreciated that from him.
No doubt. No doubt about it. Brian Callahan talking Saturday, Titans rookie minicamp over at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park, about the intent of this specific camp, not necessarily being competition, but orientation.
There's a handful of teams in the league that do it similar to us, where this is not necessarily a competition camp. This is a orientation to the program, getting guys ready to go for when we start with the vets on Monday. That's why we wait to bring them in until this weekend, so we start right away on Monday with the entire team. So you won't see any, 7-on-7 or team drills. This is more individually focused, technique focused, teaching them how we want to operate when we get on the field. So that's our. And then we have a lot of other meetings that go on over the course of the day that helps get these guys integrated as fast as possible, and then they start Monday with the rest of them. So that's our philosophy with the program, and that's what you guys will see today, very similar to last year in that regard. But excited to have these guys in here, excited to take a look at some young players, and with that, I'll let you guys go ahead.
So that was the opening statement on Saturday from Brian Callahan. Ramon, is that normal? Orientation versus competition to begin things for Titans rookies?
That's normal and preferred, to be quite honest with you. You don't want those guys going out there feeling like they have to make the team right now. What coach is essentially saying is they're allowing these guys to get their baseline down so that, to be quite honest with you, they don't mess up the flow of the practice whenever the vets get out there. The last thing you want is, and I say this with a lot of respect and just how to categorize, but the last thing you want is a young, dumb wide receiver or offensive lineman or DB or D lineman messing up the flow of practice, because there will be zero to low tolerance for those types of guys. So getting them up to speed as it pertains to what to do, where to be at, and how to run the plays, and the operation of what coaches ask them to do is the most important thing they can do for them. Again, most coaches want you to show how fast that you can play, how quickly you can get up to speed, and how efficient you can be too. Because one thing I will say is, more times than not, NFL coaches hate wasting time and reps.
Yeah,
it's only like you hear it all the time. Get off, like they'll tell you get off the field quick, and then that's the other side of it too, to where this isn't college anymore. If a coach is ripping you a new one and tells you to get off the field immediately, psychologically, you think to yourself, I'm about to get fired. And to be quite honest, most coaches don't want players to be in a position. If you do it to yourself, then fine. But it's their job to also help you be successful. So it's a twofold situation where the coaches want to have an efficient practice, but also you want the young guys to get their base down underneath them before the vets come in, because it's the vets are somewhat, I'll be honest with you, distractions.
Yeah, you build them up so you can break them back down today, right?
Yeah, and vets, they're just distractions too. It's funny. Trying
you
to
say
find.
That as a veteran.
I do say that because all we want to do, Will, is have a good time at practice. This is a reunion for us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, right.
Most vets don't look at this as I'm trying to win a job again. When the vets show up, it's, man, let me tell you about what I did.
And I imagine that's different this time of year than it is even in July and August. Because if you're a fringe, like, veteran roster player, even still, like, you're gonna lock back in when it's training camp time, and every rep is in pads, and not every rep in pads, but every rep is a full speed competition to take somebody else's job or make sure that somebody doesn't take your job. But this time of year, that's not as much in question. At least not for everyone. There's maybe, a couple guys at the very bottom of the roster that's the case for, but that's not common to have, high-level competition this time.
Yeah, you just want a good showing this time of the year. One thing that most coaches would tell you can't make the team right now. You can grab our attention this time of the year, but you sacking the quarterback, you burning down the middle of the field, Doesn't matter because why? Football is played in pads.
You can't make the team this year, but you can get kicked off the team.
You can.
You can be off the team. By something you do,
I
or something
promise
don't
you.
do.
Or you can set, man, Will, you can set a bullseye on your back for training camp this time of the year.
Sure.
We had guys. We practiced in this this portion of town called the South Side. We used to call them South Side All-Americans because those dudes would rush and get after the quarterback, and they'll get close to the quarterback and touch his hips and just sack. And we just look at them like, you just wait till training camp start. To your point, Will, this can be a good training camp for you in August, or my brother in Christ. We can make this hell for you come pad time, man. So that's why I say, like, the vets can be distractions, man, especially depending upon where your team is at, too.
Elikayo Manor speaking with the media on Saturday, describing his mentality, describing his skill set. Ramon, I liked this from the rookie out of Stanford who was maybe the best talker out of the weekend of all of the Titans rookies who spoke with the media about how his job comes down to a mentality.
Yeah, I think obviously I have some physical traits. I'm a bigger body, and so that helps me there. But at the end of the day, a lot of time it's a mentality. And you just have to have that dog and that fight in you to try to win those battles. So that's kind of what I try to bring to the table during that.
Were there any other sports you played coming up that might contribute to that, like basketball or anything like that?
I grew up playing hockey, so there's definitely a gritty sense to that. But I really played all sports growing up.
It's Elikayo Manor talking to the media Saturday. I can't remember a jump ball Titans receiver in a little while. And that is a luxury this team has not had, a guy as kind of a power forward type in the red zone who can post up a defensive back in the end zone. And if Elikayo Manor can live up to that and be that for this team, what a luxury for Cam Ward.
But even more so, the fact that and he acknowledges that's his skill set too. What would be even cooler, man, is being able to use his size, his length, his wingspan, what he's judged upon at the combine, right, to be able to have Cam Ward throw him open. Be able to, as we heard Dr. Dyson speak about earlier, putting the ball in a space where only he can get in that. If that is one of those climbing up the ladder to catch a ball type of moments, Will, even better. But the idea that you got a guy that understands what his role is, some coaches will label them as one-trick ponies. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as that skill goes, but Will, you need that in those moments where it's a threat in the end zone or there's somebody down the sideline that's just climbing a ladder to go get the ball. So I'm really excited. Honestly, I know we're going to talk a lot about him and Restrepo, but I do want to see that Elikayo Manor connection with Cam be a thing, especially rookie to rookie.
More headlines of the NFL when we come back. 615-737-1045. Derek Carr retired over the weekend, and I think Saints fans are about to do something significant over the course of the 2025 season. We'll talk about that next. 615-737-1045. Stream live on 1045 The Zone TV, live from Gaylord Springs Golf Links here at the Backfield Emotion Golf Tournament, RKW 1045 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people, man. Nobody wants to deal with a plumbing, HVAC, or electrical emergency. Most of the time, you don't even know what it will cost or if it'll get fixed right away, or if someone is trying to sell you something that you don't need. When you call Hiller, here's the thing. The experts are going to solve your problems quickly, whether it be the plumbing, heating and cooling, or electrical. The price you're told is the price that you'll actually pay. There are no hidden fees or surprises when you get your bill, man. And one of the best things about it, too, Hiller has been in business for over 35 years and is a family-owned and operated business, man. They always send their techs out to your house, and they're very professional, experienced, and trustworthy. Listen, if you want to book with a company that I trust and just simply is good, okay, visit happyhiller.com today and tell them Ramon sent you.
RKW Brewed by Scooters Coffee continues this morning on 104.5 The Zone, live from Backfield and Motions Golf Tournament here at Gaylord Springs Golf Links. Alongside Ramon Foster, I'm Will Bowling. Pleased to be joined today at the table by the head coach of the Tennessee State Tigers, the new football coach named just in late March. He is Coach Reggie Barlow, Super Bowl champion. Reggie Barlow. Coach, how are you? Good to see you.
Well, I'm doing well, Ramon. Appreciate you guys allowing me to be a part of your show here this morning. So doing well.
Yes, sir. Good to have you out here. How's it been getting started with this program, getting to know the team, and getting your feet in the ground as the new head coach here at TSU?
Yeah, we hit the ground running. Obviously, the timing of us getting this job is a little different from typically. So it was basically really trying to get to know the players, thanking the coaches that stayed around for what they did to keep things together until we got there. So it's been good. The Tennessee State people, obviously Dr. Allen and everybody that's affiliated with the program have been really supportive, and the alumni as well. So it's been good.
Coach, when you look at the history that Tennessee State has, my father also played at TSU also, just carrying on that legacy, man, of just continuing to build upon what's somewhat been established by Eddie, but it's nothing that you're foreign to. You've won at every single stop that you've been at. How do you set that foundation, being a new guy with these new players and new coaches in new city, though? Yeah,
I mean, we have this acronym that we live by, 5 core characteristics, and it's the DASH, D-A-S-H-H, and we just want to instill that. Obviously, Tennessee State is not foreign to successful coaches. Big John, all right, Merritt, Joe Gillum, Rod Reed, Eddie. So there's been a lot of guys that have done some great things there, and we just want to build off of that. We want to be disciplined. We want to have positive attitude, sacrifice for the sake of the team. Our habits must be aligned with our expectations. We can't say that we want to be champions if we're not carrying on like that. But most importantly, what's our heart going to be like while we're there? Will we care for the community? Will we be involved and care for the university? And those are the things that we want to bring out in our players. Those 5 core characteristics have worked for me, us, as a player. And it's worked for us as being a head coach. So, and also you got to populate yourself with good people, good coaches, and that's one of the things that we think that we've done, and we're just looking forward to getting started.
When you look at the situation, as far as the talent that can come out of the state of Tennessee and just surrounding Southeast too, being in Nashville is a huge attraction. Being at the HBCU is even bigger, right? What's your mindset as far as recruiting this state for the kids that may go to another local school right outside of Tennessee, out of Western Kentucky, keeping that here as opposed to letting it leave the state first?
Yeah, being from Alabama. Obviously, the bordering states, Florida, Georgia, you get a chance to see the talent. But, Tennessee, and as you mentioned, Nashville is such an attractive city, just a great city. There's a lot to offer here. And then, of course, Tennessee State with its brand. And then the athletes here. I mean, there's so many good athletes here. Matter of fact, the guys that they're because of the transfer portal, there's the high school kids. Obviously, it's a challenge. Yeah. But just getting this job and seeing guys that are 25 graduates, high school guys, that still didn't have anywhere to go. And it's like, this guy's an old lineman. He's 6'3", he's 285, and he doesn't have a school.
Wow.
And it's like, bro.
Yeah, come on home. Come on home, please. We're here.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and thank God to social media, we're touchable.
Yeah.
And his uncle reached out to me on Instagram, and I was just like, obviously your antenna's going to go up if they say O-line, D-line, right? Because they're hard to come by. And then 6'3", 285, and can play guard and center.
Yes.
Hey, Come here.
I promise you. We got a bed. We got hot meals for you in the weight room. Sir.
we have all of that for you. So come on. So we had a chance to visit with that young man. His uncle and his father brought him on campus, and it's a match, right?
Yeah.
So, but those are the type stories where you find players that are good players in this state, you know, in this area. And as you mentioned, another thing that we've been able to do is, you know, we tasked our coaches with going and see who's from this state that are in other conferences, and whether or not they're playing or if they're in the transfer portal.
Because it's allowed. Yeah.
Come on.
Totally. Absolutely right.
Come on.
Yeah, that's the mindset.
Yeah. So we've been able to get some guys that are from this state, might have left, and now they get a chance to come back.
I love it.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Love it. Great opportunity. Coach Reggie Barlow, our guest here, Tennessee State head coach. Coach, being a college football coach has got to be such a unique challenge in 2025, even compared to what it was like probably 5-10 years ago. What are some of those values that are important to you when you are getting to know a high school prospect or getting to know a transfer portal prospect? Because, Coach, as you know, there are a lot of different ways to build a roster now than there were not too long ago.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be creative. It's all about relationships still. The young men that we come in contact with, that we're recruiting, I mean, we want to know, you know, we want to know what do you want to major in?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right? Kinesiology, okay. What are you going to do with that? Let's talk about that, right? When you're done playing 10 years in the NFL.
Right.
I say that, right, for all of them, right? Because that's what we all think we're going to do, is play in the NFL. So we talk about what are you going to do with that? And, you know, who is that person that's going to help you make this decision?
Sure.
Because I want to get to know them too. Because you're going to bring them along with you, not physically, but during your time at the university. So getting to know the student athlete, knowing what their true passions are beyond football, and who are their heartstrings, who are those people that they're going to rely on, and just building those relationships with these young men. Because, I mean, I've been a head coach for 17 years or something like that. We've had some great coaches that have been part of our staff. We've been blessed to have guys get drafted, sign as free agents, invited to camp. But, you know, one of the things, I'm so proud of the guys that we've coached that are dentists and teachers and daddies and politicians and doing all type of other things around the country. So those are the things that make us happy, and we're hoping to have that type of impact here at Tennessee State.
Real quick, when it comes down to it, I don't want to create any beef between one or the other, but the conversation always is you want the stands filled for the whole 4 quarters, not just at halftime. Your battle between the band and the product of your football team, because you're a coach and you want to win and you want to pack that stadium up, Coach. How important is it to establish that, to come see the football team, be a part of this growth, and to your point, get you another Rogers Cromartie, another first-round draft pick and more? Because with everybody having tape and film in today's football, if you can ball and develop yourself, they're going to come get you.
They coming. I mean, that's what they're paid to do, to come find you. I went to HBCU, and they found me, 4th-round draft pick.
Absolutely.
I only got offered one scholarship out of high school, Alabama State.
So you know this story.
I know this story. I've walked this and I've lived this, but can't compete with that band now. Can't compete with that band. There is not a route that I can run or a catch that I can make that can compete with our band.
I know. It's
right?
the
So, but, you know, thanks to that point, it's important. I mean, these guys that we bring to the university, you know, the worst thing in the world is to leave the locker room and come out to an empty stadium. So we're encouraging our fans, our alumni. You know, Tennessee State is a neighborhood school, right?
That's
right. I mean, you could. We don't play Tennessee, so you can still cheer for Tennessee State.
Absolutely.
You can still come watch us. Right? There's some schools we don't play. We don't play Vanderbilt. I mean, you can still come and enjoy the atmosphere, the environment. see some good football, and also get a chance to see an amazing band and, cheer the community school on. So we encourage all of our fans, we encourage football fans to come and be a part of our game day experience. The university do a great job of putting on the game. So there at Nissan Stadium, it's a beautiful stadium, which is getting some new
That's right.
right next door.
Going up. That's exciting.
So you get a chance to sit in Nissan Stadium and watch the building, the next stadium be built. So, yeah, we want our fans to come out and watch.
No doubt.
Exciting stuff. The new head coach of the Tennessee State University Tigers, Coach Reggie Barlow, kind enough to give us a few minutes this morning. Coach, great to meet you. I appreciate you stopping by.
Man, I appreciate it. Look forward to coming back, hanging out with you guys, man. I know you guys do great work, and hopefully these golfers can get out.
That's right.
All right, and the rain stop, and everybody will be fine.
No doubt.
Coach Barlow with us here this morning. More RKW coming up after this.
It is 8:02 from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Good morning. I'm Justin Hawkins. Rookie minicamp wrapped up this weekend, and it was the first time you could see Cam Ward put on Titans gear. Saturday, Cam Ward spoke to the media about his excitement to get started with Titans vets and what he wants to be known as. In other NFL news, on Saturday, New Orleans Saints quarterback Derek Carr announced his retirement from the NFL after 11 seasons. It was due to a shoulder injury that he suffered last season. Carr retiring gives the Saints $30 million in cap relief, and the Saints drafted 25-year-old Tyler Shuck out of Louisville in the second round in this year's draft. He will compete for the starting job this season. And Nashville SC beat Charlotte FC Saturday night at Geodis Park 2-1 with goals 5 minutes apart in the second half. They were from Hani Mukhtar and Jacob Schaffelberg. With the win, Nashville has now reached 20 points within the first 12 games of the season for the first time in the club's history. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you have to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show underway on a Monday morning edition of RKW. There's this big yellow bright thing in the sky. I think it's the sun here in beautiful Music City, USA. Gaylord Springs Golf Links. The golfers getting ready here for the Backfield in Motion golf tournament here at lovely Gaylord Springs. Backfield in Motion is dedicated to improving literacy and numeracy skills for at-risk youth, providing them with a strong foundation for higher education and future career success, developing partnerships with local universities, including TSU and Vanderbilt, providing opportunities for students to work with college athletes and coaches that offer free clinics and coaching sessions for our young athletes. Check them out on Instagram, Backfield in Motion, to get involved. After-school programs for youth around Middle Tennessee. A great cause and a great morning out here at Moen Foster.
Yes, it is, man. The golfers have showed up, by the way. I saw somebody earlier say, there's no way you guys are golfing. Yes, they are going
Absolutely.
to. Because you never skip a day when you have a round of golf, even though I don't golf like that. I just understand the rules of it, Will.
you can step in and take some celeb shots every now and then.
Yes, absolutely.
As long as you got a cigar and a drink, you're crushing it.
You're good to go. They're getting breakfast and everything right now. By the way, I got to give it up to Dr. Todd Campbell. They do a real good job, man, of hosting this event.
Mm-hmm.
Always a full of participants, man. I saw a guy, Richard Hendricks, just showed up a second
SEC
ago.
Networks, Richard Hendricks,
Sure did.
friend of the program.
And also some VFL showed up too, man. Gerard Parrish, VFL, who's also here, and Todd Campbell Jr., who I play with, who I just found out crossed over into the fraternity that I also represent.
Nice.
So shout out to the Noops, man, and Todd Campbell Jr. for crossing. That's awesome. Always tell the new brothers. You know what I'm saying? Well, he's got his hoodie. I mean his sweatshirt on and everything today. I love that.
I love it. Good stuff.
Yes,
so Derek Carr over the weekend retired for Moen Foster, announcing his retirement on Saturday. The 34-year-old sustained a labral tear and also had significant degenerative changes to his rotator cuff. So playing in 2025 was in jeopardy, according to reports. So New Orleans gets closure that it has been looking for since April 11th when this story surfaced. They drafted Tyler Shuck last month in the second round. Spencer Rattler and Jake Hayner are on the roster. Those two guys went 0-7 last season in games that Derek Carr did not start. Here's the thing, Ramon. The clock has started on Tyler Shuck because there's this certain guy with the last name Manning who is playing at Texas, and his grandfather just so happened to play in New Orleans. And I don't care about what's fair for Tyler Shuck. I don't care that Arch Manning most likely is going to wait another season and not only just play one season at Texas. You know, if there's a 2-year plan going on here and he plays it. Saints fans don't care. You think that's going to stop Saints fans from putting Arch Manning highlights next to Saints Archie Manning highlights? Absolutely not. Tyler Shuck better be good, and he better be good quickly, because the Manning mania will start very quickly in New Orleans if he's not.
Well, considering the history of it, as we spoke a little bit about Deion Sanders compared to Archie Manning also, right? Big Pop, okay, is what we'll call him at this point. Big Pop pulled a move on the San Diego Chargers at the time and said he didn't want his son playing for them. And you know what? He delivered on that. This is a situation, to your point, they have history, Will. This is a match made in Manning heaven is what this is for the New Orleans Saints, man. But it's also like if it really does, Will, put pressure more on Kellen Moore, I feel like, too, in this situation. Considering the conversation of, are you good for Arch as a coach, right? Is there going to be a coaching change soon? I think there's more pressure on Coach Kellen Moore than it is almost on Tyler Shuck at this point.
Sure.
For that point of how good are you at managing this team. We expect the New Orleans Saints to be a bad team this year. They're in the start of a rebuild. We can be quite honest with you, especially when your franchise quarterback is gone too. So can he call the plays? Can you see some remnants of him being a good leader? Can you see him being in a position to where he can call some games? Now, here's the other part. You're not trying to win every game this year.
Sure.
Is it okay to say, like, their best pathway to being good and relevant again is to be bad?
I mean, honestly, at this point, like having a transition year with a young quarterback that you just throw to the wolves and say, let's see if you can swim in the deep end or if you sink. Like, the worst part of that is you pick in the top 5 and you pick Arch Manning or Garrett Nussmeier or Drew Aller or Cade Klubnik or any number of young college quarterbacks that'll be available for you to select next year.
If he's there, is Arch Manning going to the Saints? Or are you saying to yourself, Cade Klubnik, Nussmeier? I mean, think about it, like, this group is big, it's large.
Right. Tyler Shuck has a chance to become the next Josh Rosen, is what this means.
Yeah.
I mean, Arizona did not hesitate to jettison him for Kyler Murray when they had the opportunity to.
And that was a first rounder.
Yeah, right.
So this guy don't matter. Like,
right.
And there's also the age thing, if we're going to speak about that, to be quite honest with you, up against Tyler Shuck, too. You got an opportunity to get a young 20-year-old with one of these other quarterbacks coming out. And not just that, but just on the grading scale of what's good versus what's okay. Like, I'm not saying Shuck isn't a good quarterback, can't be a good quarterback, but the conversation of what the potential, and that's what coaches love, the potential of what Arch or what these other quarterbacks turn into is what you build your career off of, and honestly gives you more time as a coach, too.
Eric on YouTube says, I'm just saying just because the guy's last name is Manning doesn't mean he's going to go in the first round. He literally has not started even at the college level. Why are people so scared of hyping up Arch Manning?
To say it.
It's not just the last name.
No.
This is one of the best quarterback prospects to come out of high school in a long time. And from what we have seen from him, because the guy's not just sat and not played. Like, this is not a Jonathan Crompton waiting behind Eric Ainge situation.
No.
Like, the guy has gone out there and has already played football and has looked pretty dang good doing it. And people I trust who are watching those practices, who are talking about Texas, who are talking about college football, are hyping this guy up to a very, very, very high level. There is fair optimism that this kid is special. I'm not going to put generational on him yet as an NFL prospect because we haven't seen enough for him to be that level. Yep. But as far as high school quarterback prospects, he is a generational prospect.
He fits into the Deshaun Watson conversation.
Yep.
The Trevor Lawrence conversation. The Caleb Williams conversation.
100%.
Let's move. Marvin Harrison Jr. He fits in that conversation in a different position.
Right, 100%. And next season might not be the year he comes out. But my point is that Tyler Shuck has a very short amount of time to win over Saints fans. Before Saints fans start just saying, wait, just give us Arch Manning instead.
I don't even know if he can do it. To be quite honest with you,
I don't think he can.
Because here's the other thing is the name does resonate. You say what you want to about it, but, like, the name carries a lot of weight as it pertains to Arch Manning, just the Manning name in general. Like, you can say what you want to. Like, Shuck can go 15-2. They're still going to look over his shoulder and say, I still want some of that Arch stuff.
I mean, 15-2, I think they'd take. But
I
honestly,
personally
though,
don't think so.
If he doesn't have a winning record, I think at the very least, then they're in the quarterback discussion. Like, that's the tricky part of it, is that they are going to have an affection for Arch Manning because of Archie that they're not going to have for Drew Aller. They're not going to have for Sam Levitt. So if Arch Manning comes out next season, Saints fans, unless Tyler Shuck is great, are going to be all over that.
All right, 15-2 is a different comment. That means
Yeah,
he's
I was
done a
gonna
lot.
say, 15-2,
All right,
Tyler Shuck is.
Let me dial
he's
it
the guy.
back. All right, that's what this is for. Will you be like, all right, now Mo, it's like 10-2.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's
Right.
10-2 for the
Winning-
Vols.
winning
no.
record.
But to your point, here's what I say. I do think there's a threshold of over 500
Yeah.
that you still say I want some money on this one. I think if they win 10 games, I still think you say they're going to go for Manning.
Well, at that point,
they can't.
they're not in position
But
to draft him. That's the
But
whole
what
point.
I'm saying is getting to a certain point at wins or success,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything that he could do to want them not want Arch Manning.
615-737-1045, the number. We'll get back to your phone calls as the show continues. But coming up next, Jim Wyatt at TennesseeTitans.com will join us. What did he see from Cam Ward, from Elikiah Manor, Chimere DK, the other Titans rookies who were on the field over the weekend at rookie minicamp? Jim Wyatt answers those questions and more for us coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Two Rivers Ford, man. I got a huge announcement for you guys from Two Rivers Ford. Just in, Two Rivers Ford is now offering employee pricing for everyone. That means you pay what they pay on almost every new Ford on a lot. And at Two Rivers Ford, what you see is always what you get. They don't do things like add expensive accessories or tack on service packages to increase the price of the vehicle. No. Two Rivers Ford is upfront and honest every single time, and now they're offering you employee pricing. And there's no better time to buy American. There's no better dealership than Two Rivers Ford. They're locally owned and operated for over 40 years and home of the non-commissioned sales team. And now home to employee pricing for everyone. From America, for America. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
RKW on 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooters Coffee, locally owned near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Alongside Ramon Foster, I'm Will Bowling. Kayla's got the morning off as we broadcast live from Backfield and Motion's golf tournament here at Gaylord Springs Golf Links. And we are pleased to be joined this morning over the phones by our good friend Jim Wyatt of TennesseeTitans.com, talking rookie minicamp over the weekend. Jim, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. I hope you guys are doing well.
Yes, sir. We are excellent. Cam Ward in a Tennessee Titans jersey for the first time, albeit a practice jersey, Jim, over the weekend. What did you see and what did you like about his first practice session with some of those rookies?
Well, I like his presence. I mean, I was able to see him at his pro day and saw those guys at Miami rally around him and root for him and him kind of lead them. So I was curious to see what it was going to look like first time, in a Titans jersey around these rookies, and it's kind of the same thing. I mean, you can tell the guys look to him. He's the guy that broke down the huddle. He's got kind of a presence about him. Guy makes a mistake. He's working with him to get better. It was, I'll be completely honest. I mean, it wasn't a real competitive mini camp. It was more of getting your technique down, working on footwork, working in individual stuff. So we'll see more as time comes. But I thought, how relaxed he is and how ready he is for the start, I thought was good to see. And now I'm looking forward to seeing things when the intensity cranks up a little bit more.
Jim, I know you wrote about it at TennesseeTitans.com, just the unique release that he has. He showed off kind of some different things. Did you see kind of the different arm angles? What does the ball kind of look like down there in person coming out of his hand?
Well, it comes out fast. I think that's the one thing that stands out more than anything else. Yes, he does have, throw a little bit of a sidearm, different arm angles, I guess depending on what he needs to do to get the ball off. They worked on a lot of footwork stuff. Bo Hardigree, the quarterback's coach, there was one drill where Cam was in between two padded practice dummies, and then Bo Hardigree had like yellow and blue and red bean bags, and they were throwing them at his feet, and then Cam would roll out from one side or the other and then throw the ball toward the end zone 30, 35 yards downfield into a big net. At least he tried to, and he got close a couple of times, didn't hit it. But, even on some of the rollout stuff, though, some of the balls further downfield, you did see, what you saw in college so much from him, and that's him throwing the ball with a kind of a unique style, and it worked for him. I mean, he was talked a lot about, after practice. It's about what they plan to do with his technique and whether anybody's tried to change his arm angles or anything, the way he releases the ball. He said no. I mean, all they're really working on him now is footwork and just they're going to let him do what he does. Certainly there will be tweaks along the way, but he got here and got to be the first pick overall by the way he plays and the way he throws it.
Jim, we're joined this morning by Jimmy Wyatt, TennesseeTitans.com. Jimmy, when it comes down to his wide receivers he had the ability to work with, of course, Chimere Dike, Alec Ayumanor. I saw in your write-up, man, that you had Ayumanor ended up dropping a pass. Is that something that you think that's going to have to be adjusted to with the way Cam throws the football, or he just simply dropped it when you look at that little small detail?
Yeah, I think he just dropped it. I mean, I just chalked that up to, rookie nerves because it was one that hit him right in the hands. And there were a couple of guys that dropped balls on Saturday. And Cam wasn't perfect. I mean, I thought he was accurate for the most part. There were a couple of balls he threw behind receivers. Ayumanor is, I would say, behind Cam was the guy I was looking forward to seeing most because I saw him play in college, but after the draft, obviously I watched that game tape of him against Travis Hunter in Colorado and just putting on a clinic on going up and getting the ball and being physical. And I heard you guys talking earlier, when I was driving in, just about it's been a while since the Titans had a guy who can kind of go up and get it. So, I mean, his size jumps out at you and just kind of the way he plays with some tenacity. I think he's going to be really good. And, DK is a little bit different, but he's big himself, can really run. I like the looks of those two. And, I'll look at this receiving core right now and probably can get to 4 or 5 pretty quick that are going to make it. So it's going to be interesting to see who maybe 6 is going to be and and who maybe sticks around for the practice squad spot. Because Restrepo, I know you guys probably got asked about him. I mean, he's very polished and obviously knows Cam. He's got a chip on his shoulder. Didn't run a great time, but one of those guys that I think everybody's going to like. So he's going to make it interesting too. And I thought he got off to a good start. He snatches the ball out of the air with ease, and just neat to see him up close and in person for the first time.
Jimmy, that's why I was going to go to asking, around Restrepo and just, asking you as far as the 2 draft pick goes, Ayumaner and also DK. What's the pathway for those 2 guys, man? Because everybody say, the Restrepo has, the ability to get open. He's more polished than them. Jimmy, how do they fight up against that and becoming noticed, too, from what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's going to come down to reps and opportunities in camp. I mean, I hate to get too much into looking at roster right now just because we're so early. But when I look at this team, I feel like Van Jefferson and Tyler Lockett and Calvin Ridley, those 3 are on the team. DK and Ayumaner, that's probably 4 and 5. So then where do guys like Restrepo or, we still got to wait and see how things are going to play out with Traylon and his recovery. But you got Traylon Burks in the mix and Colton Dowell in the mix and Jaquan Jackson in the mix and Mason Kinsey, who just watching some of these, some of this off-season work, I think he looks good. He's going to compete. Bryce Oliver, James Prochet. I mean, they've got some numbers. So I think the competition for 6, 7, 8, and again, all those guys not going to be on the 53 is going to be pretty intense, and so it's going to be about making the most of the opportunities. These joint practices that they have in camp are going to be big, but it's all about consistency and just proving yourself day in and day out.
Jim Wyatt, TennesseeTitans.com. Our guest this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Jim, Femi Oladejo, I know spoke to the media, guy with a big personality, guy that values the leadership side of playing football as well. What was your first impression getting to see him practice?
Well, I think I heard him before I saw him. I mean, he's definitely a big personality guy. He came out the door without a shirt on the first day, and he certainly looks the part. And then on the field, he's got his sleeves rolled up like Keith Bullock used to do in that number 53, and he is high intensity. And seeing him, hit the move, the blocking sled and explode, and then seeing him do some of these drills at full speed. I mean, he looks the part. I know he's still a work in progress, still adjusting to playing a position he hadn't played for a real long time. But I think ideally he works himself into a role where he is able to contribute in situations, and maybe he can earn and do more. But I'm looking forward to the pads coming on with him, because he in some ways, to be honest with you, he looks like he's got pads on now, and he doesn't.
Wow.
Jimmy, that's fascinating, your description and approach to him from this past weekend, because it was somewhat played out, or we're led to believe that he was a little bit more reserved and just he wasn't going to be that out front type of guy like that. And the way you've reported it, he's totally opposite of that. Like, he's trying to find himself into the DNA of what the Titans are going to be moving forward. Is that what you got for him? Like, it's not fabricated, it's just who he is? Because I thought it was a quiet guy.
Yeah, I think that is who he is. That's one of the things I asked him about it in the media session after, is just where he got that personality from and outgoing way. And so that's why he's always been. He's always wanted to be the guy that leads the team and gets the chance going when he was young, and he gives kind of an emotional edge. My daughter and her husband went and saw the Savannah Bananas on a Saturday, and they introduced those rookies, and they were telling me about, this guy, one guy, they didn't know his name. And obviously that's not the name that jumps out at you. You're not going to remember that like Cam Ward. I said, I guarantee you that's Femi. And she said, oh, yeah, that's who that was. So, I mean, his presence could be felt even out there, in that spectacle on Saturday night at Nissan Stadium. So I think that's what he's all about. I think he's going to be one of these guys that gets the emotions up. But you got to be good. The thing about that is you're going to make a lot of noise and bring a lot of attention. You got to be able to produce as well. So, but I think he will, and I think people are really excited about him. 6'3", 259. Certainly got the body to do it. Got the want to do it. Now he's just got to refine his technique and kind of find his way in the league.
Jim, when you look at Kevin Winston Jr., he's still recovering from the ACL injury he suffered in the fall and is working in rehab instead of in drills with teammates so far. But just getting to see him in person, I know you wrote about just how big he is. How much potential does a guy like this have and just the frame and the body, kind of the norm now maybe at that position, Jim, as that safety position evolves over time here in the NFL?
Yeah, and it's funny. I see these numbers sometimes. It takes me back, like 23, Blaine Bishop. I mean, he's completely different build. He's like a bowling, kind of not tall in stature, but certainly stocky and tough. And so then I saw this 23 out there the other day in Kevin Winston, and he looks like a big. I mean, he in some ways, if you put on some exercise, it looks like almost like an edge rusher. Obviously, he's a safety, but he's big and he's going to be physical, and I think he is going to make an impact once he gets healthy. Now, obviously, his impact will be on special teams at the start. They've got a couple of veterans at the safety position, but I think he could potentially find a role for himself. His agent. I'm talking a lot about the guys from the past, but John Thornton, who played defensive line here, came in with Javon Kearse's class back in '99. That's who Kevin Winston's agent is, and kind of told him about the way of the Titans and the history, and he certainly is excited about being a part of it.
Jimmy Wyatt with us this morning. Jimmy, when you look at also this, I feel like we're talking all offensive, man, but Gunnar Helm also, man, is he looks the part of a guy that can grow into something special in the NFL. How was his first time on the field with the Titans with Cam and all the other rookies?
Yeah, he looks good. I mean, he I watched him. It's funny. I was trying to get a look on all 9 of these guys, and then some of the undrafted free agents as well. So I made a pass by, the tight ends, and he's big. I mean, I think he could get even bigger, listed 6'5", 241. Yeah, I think he could get even stronger, and as he gets stronger, he'll be even more of a factor. But he's very confident, and it took him a while at Texas to kind of really find his way, but really work to make himself better and become more of a leader. And I liked what I heard from him about wanting to do that here. He arrives in a room where they've got a pretty good group, I think. I mean, with Chika Okonkwo and Josh Wiley. I like David Martin Robinson and Thomas Odukoya too. So that's going to be a really competitive position group to watch. And I think he caught the ball well. He may have had one ball that was behind him. He wasn't able to hold in, but first day out, I was impressed with him.
Jimmy, when you look at the coaching staff, how they're going about this is Luke Stocker's first time being in this position. Bo Hardigree, the quarterback's coach, is also in a position where he's with the #1 overall guy. And Coach Bill Callahan is inheriting guys also, man. What's the approach to this young group, man, from a coaching staff perspective? Because there's a lot of talent. I know every year we get excited about the new draft class, but Jimmy, this one seems a little bit different. How are the coaches approaching this if you've had those conversations with them?
Yeah, I think they're excited. I mean, certainly to begin working with these guys. And I thought it was interesting, this weekend, you see some teams in these, in these rookie mini camps that are like doing a lot of more competitive stuff. And you're seeing a ton of Shedeur Sanders highlights and making throws against guys in coverage and we didn't see as much of that here. Again, it was more of a acclimation rookie mini camp just to try to get these guys used to being out there with the veterans and teaching them. So I think that's what they're wanting to do with these guys first, is to try to get them as comfortable as possible. It'll be different now, starting today and then some of these OTAs moving forward. I mean, you know how it goes, Ramon. I mean, these rookies now have to kind of find their way, and they're they're going to have to earn it playing along some of these veterans. Now, it's going to be a little bit different with Cam Ward, and I'm curious myself just to see what it looks like from him and where he slides in. But I think the coaching staff feels like they've got some guys who can help them early. I think the coach who I noted early because he's new is John Fossil, the special teams coordinator. I think he sees some of these guys that can help him and his group right out of the gate. So he's really enthusiastic and want to coach these guys up because that's where they're going to make their difference or make an impact first.
Jim, on the way out for you, I know really early and really just first impressions of some of these undrafted guys, but specifically Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon and the investment the Titans have reportedly made in him and his experience, a guy I think at one point a lot of folks thought could be a 5th, 6th, or 7th round pick. As an undrafted guy, did you notice him just kind of a big-bodied tackle from Florida, and were there any other undrafted guys that kind of caught your attention and we haven't talked about over the weekend?
Well, he definitely got my attention because he's 6'7", 316, and he's in a position I think where he could stick if he is impressive. I guess the guys when I started, I put lines next to make sure I got a good look at him, and I did. And Restrepo was the other undrafted. Micah Bernard, the running back out of Utah, Jalen Kimber, the cornerback out of Penn State, Jamari Harris, the corner out of Iowa. Those are the guys. I try to look at those guys as much as possible. And they're the ones I think moving forward that Isaiah Rakes, too, the Auburn nose tackle. And those are the ones I'm really going to be kind of keeping an eye on as we go forward. And there were a couple of tryout guys that were actually intriguing. I'm always curious to see, after these rookie mini camps, whether or not maybe one of the tryout guys impressed them enough where they might be willing to swap them out with an undrafted guy. And that seems to happen every year. It's not going to surprise me at all if a couple of these guys end up sticking that were here as tryout players. It's just wonder whose expense that's going to come at.
You see the lineman from Florida, Brendan Crenshaw-Dixon, sticking at tackle or moving inside?
I think tackle, but that's a good question, Ramon. I mean, you know skill set a lot better than I do for these guys. You think he's capable of –
Well, Jimmy, they say I always try to turn tackles into guards, so I'm trying to fight against that and give them a fair shot, Jimmy. It's just that I've looked at the tape, and, hey, I'm not a coach, but I see things is all I'm saying, Jimmy.
Yeah, well, I'll watch his footwork and see how he's working over there with Bill Callahan today. That's one for me to keep in the back of my mind to see if they could turn him into a guy who can show off his versatility there.
Yeah, no doubt, because he's got JC in front of him. It's the only reason. Now, he's a reserve guy, cool, but I was just thinking, planning for the future with Zeitler being on a 1 year, if you can groom him to move inside, because pass pro is, I think, his strongest sense with his punch. But, hey, what do I know, Jimmy, you know?
A little bit.
Did I mention Cam Horsley? Cam Horsley, another one of those guys I'm curious about, too. We'll watch him because he's certainly a big boy at a position that where they need some more bodies.
Absolutely.
Love it. Great stuff for Jim Wyatt at TennesseeTitans.com. Kind enough to join us this morning. Boots on the ground for us, talking Titans rookie minicamp. Jim, always great stuff. Appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we've got the schedule coming out this week, too. So
That's right.
It feels like we're kind of going to – it seems like we're edging toward the season. So it's exciting. So you guys have a good week. I appreciate it.
It'll be here before we know it. Yeah, absolutely right. Jim Wyatt, kind enough to join us here this morning on RKW. We'll react to some of that when we come back. And Jim giving us a couple of good nuggets there I thought were interesting. Plus, there is big sports media news this morning as one A-list personality is returning to a former employer. That's next.
Did you know that up to 50% of the air you breathe in your home comes from your crawl space? Have you ever looked in your crawl space? I get it. Most of us don't even want to know what's in there, but moisture in your crawl space can create unhealthy issues that can make their way into the air you breathe every day in your home. It's Ramon Falston. This is where United Structural Systems can help you. USS has been keeping homes dry and stable in Middle Tennessee since 1994, so you know they're not going anywhere. Help control moisture and musty smells with mold treatment and crawl space encapsulation that comes with the USS guarantee. Encapsulation helps reduce high humidity in your crawl space, helps deter mold and mildew, and protects your crawl space from pests and wood rot. Listen, turn your crawl space into a healthy space. Reach out to the company I trust for all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, and that's USS. You can reach them at USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com, or call them at 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems.
Hey, it's Will Bowling. Are you headed to the beach or pool this summer? Well, if so, you may benefit from water-resistant hearing aids. Maybe you're at weddings, social gatherings where you're in larger crowds. You want to participate in conversation, yet unfortunately you're hearing the conversation going on behind you more than the one in front of you. Well, you can benefit from hearing aids that significantly reduce background noise, enabling you to hear and understand conversation when you're outside. The doctors of audiology at Brentwood Hearing Center, they offer the latest hearing device technology and, yes, a water-resistant hearing aid that will help you in those situations: weddings, funerals, cocktail parties, social gatherings where you find it difficult to hear conversation because of background noise. Call them at 615-377-0420 or visit them online at BrentwoodHearingCenter.com to learn more about how they can tailor a hearing solution to meet your individual hearing care needs. Once again, the number 615-377-0420, online at BrentwoodHearingCenter.com. That's Brentwood Hearing Center. Better hearing, better life. RKW is brewed by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, locally owned near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, Surmount, Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling. Kayla's got the morning off. Here live from Gaylord Springs Golf Links for the Backfield in Motion Golf Tournament. So there is a person in sports media going back home, Ramon Foster.
Yeah.
After more than 2 decades at NFL Network, after leaving ESPN, Rich Eisen is returning to ESPN as a part of its forthcoming direct-to-consumer offering. Andrew Marchand of The Athletic had this first, so he will take the Rich Eisen show from Roku to ESPN in the fall. And Andrew Marchand writes, there is a strong possibility that the program, which runs from noon to 3 Eastern, could also land on ESPN Radio, where it would be viewed as an anchor for the network, but those details are not yet ironed out. Similarly to the Pat McAfee show, Eisen's program will be licensed by ESPN, meaning he is expected to maintain ownership and editorial control. The terms of the deal are not yet known. 55-year-old left ESPN for NFL Network in 2003 to become the face of the league-owned entity, so he will remain the featured host on NFL Network's Game Day and its draft coverage. He also calls select regular season games for NFL Network. But this is your headliner of ESPN's direct-to-consumer platform that is coming soon.
Man, you know what ESPN is acting like? They're acting like these Power 4 schools, just letting other networks build up talent and then just coming in and buying for their championship run is what they're doing. Having Rich Eisen back over there, it settles a lot of stuff for all the talent that they have lost, and this is probably why some of those other talented, hosts and just people that they have working for them have actually been cut loose because they're going with a bigger style that they're doing. They did the exact same thing with pulling Peter Schrager over, from the NFL Network also. And I'll say this too, as far as somebody that consumes multiple outlets of sports, NFL Network's got to do a little bit better with their ability to put their product out there too, is what I would say. The radio is fine, but it could be better. So the way I look at it, they rely a lot, I feel like, on players more than just finding good talent from time to time. And ESPN is they got the mouse behind them. They can go get almost anybody they want.
Got that mouse money.
Yeah, and they're paying that mouse money. The fact that he gets to keep his licensing and his brand and own it for the most part, that says a lot. They're allowing him to do the hard work and just say, here's your money to keep us popular.
Really interesting what this direct-to-consumer product will be. And for those who are unfamiliar, you can basically just buy ESPN without having cable. So there will now be an ability this fall where ESPN, and it's going to be called ESPN, which I don't know, they probably paid some marketing firm to come up with that. But their app, their direct-to-consumer platform will just be called ESPN. And you don't have to have a cable provider or a streaming provider. You can just buy it.
Okay.
And this will be one of the things that I'd imagine is just on the ESPN digital platforms. They're not going to take McAfee off with this having a competing time slot kind of in middays. So this is really sort of just ESPN's, I guess, alternative with video and audio to Pat McAfee.
Wow. Yeah.
11 to 2 Central.
It is. They're going with the long productions too, right?
Yeah.
Having Pat do his thing over a longer extended time.
Yeah, and he's got ownership of his product too.
Yeah, it's again, that's something a lot of people that are in that position have been fighting for, to want to be a part of. Hey, I still want to do my thing without being overcorrected, because I feel like at times we see with ESPN and how they go about their talent, you see them start doing more, hate to call them antics, but they get more animated.
Yeah, sure.
They start just saying the most random stuff on television, and it's smart on them to allow guys like Pat McAfee and now Rich Eisen to do what made them popular. Why change this product, right?
Mm-hmm.
But good. I like it. It makes it a little bit more familiar face on ESPN too. So, and it's just good. It gives them a little bit more validation for all of the other side shows that they have going on.
Sure.
For the consumer that just wants straight talk, Eisen's your guy. Now, the other side is you got Pat McAfee.
You do, and that's the other end of the spectrum.
To say the least.
You've got old school in Rich Eisen. You've got very new school in Pat McAfee.
Man, speaking of old school, new school, something just came across my algorithm on social media. This has been reported from Barstool Gruden, of course. But Gruden's doing, I guess, a ride around or a sit down with Phillip Rivers right now.
Really?
It has been reported he has a son who is only a couple of months older than his grandson. He's still at it. Okay? Let it alone, Phillip. I get it. We understand that you trying to a very own, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here? It said, Phillip said that in a couple of years, his son will be throwing touchdowns to his grandson in games. Phil.
Sounds like Phillip Rivers needs a hobby to get him out of the house. And maybe out of one of the rooms in his house with his wife as well. Maybe him and his wife could start playing pickleball together instead of doing other things at home.
Yeah, this man's name should be Abraham at this point, man. Like, what are we doing?
And many sons had Father Rivers. Phillip Rivers had many sons.
Bro, we're watching our very own Abraham out here.
Rivers.
What are we doing, Will? Like, Phillip, I thought you were coaching.
Oh,
I thought you, or was coaching high school teams at this point. All the coaches I know, they don't have time for all this extracurricular stuff.
Goodness.
I'll say this, though, too. I do have an uncle that I'm older than, too, so I get it. But, like, Phillip, you were really just holding it down, my brother.
He needs to go take up golf. He should go take up golf.
Yeah, he needs something more than just his ability to procreate out here is what I'm telling you.
Commenter on Twitch says he has to relieve stress somehow. LOL. Yeah, pickleball's great for that, too.
It's great.
Golf is great for that, too.
Dr. Dyson's getting up working out at 4:30.
Yeah, that's right.
Doesn't seem like he's choosing to get out the bed at any point in time, the way it seems with him. I just thought that was funny. And it's Gruden of all people who would drop that little nugget right there.
On the TV in front of us, Ramon, we have a classic NBA team that got knocked out of the playoffs headline.
Yeah.
Giannis Antetokounmpo open to exploring best fits outside of Bucks.
Yeah.
Open to exploring. Not open to best fits, not exploring best fits, open to exploring.
Open to exploring.
Other than the I am open to exploring driving an Italian sports car. I am open to exploring going to Paris this summer. Like what it just fascinates me the way we report things in 2025.
I just almost cracked on there right there, and I almost said what Kirby texted me.
No,
but I don't want.
Put your phone down.
I can't do it.
Don't let Kirby take you away from it. You are a broadcast professional.
Pro.
Don't let Kirby get in your way.
See,
eyes on the prize. I was trying to have a meaningful basketball discussion this morning.
You did.
So when Ron Slade comes on 3HL this afternoon, just know that I tried. I tried to talk hoops, and you and Kirby are conspiring against me like the kids in the back of the class talking and passing notes, and I'm the teacher saying, I'll wait till you're done.
Yeah.
Are you guys done? Is there anything you want to share with us? No?
No.
All right.
We can't share.
Hey, Ramon, what did I just say? No? Okay.
No. Will, you are 100% correct. Let's just say it involved pickleball and pickles, and we'll leave it alone, okay, with that being said.
Well,
but Jan has
Nope, you lost the privilege. 615-737-1045. You lost the privilege of talking basketball. Slay, it wasn't my fault. I tried. Coming up next, a Titans rookie gave a great quote over the weekend about why he did not transfer. I think it is the perfect quote for what the Titans are looking for in their draft class moving forward, and we'll do that next.
Two Rivers Ford announces employee pricing for everyone. Every tradesman, every dad, every rising star. You pay what we pay. Two Rivers Ford. Locally owned. American made.
It is 9:01 from the 104.5 The Zone studios. Good Monday morning. I am Justin Hawkins. Rookie minicamp wrapped up this weekend, and it was the first time you could see Cam Ward put on some Titans gear. Saturday, Cam Ward spoke to the media about his excitement to get started with the Titans vets and what he wants to be in the NFL.
I just talking about business. I really want to be a pro. I want to be one of the great ones, and I just want to be a good teammate at the end of the day. You know, I want to win a lot of football games in my career, and you know, I'm excited to be around good vets like Ridley, good guys up front like Lloyd and JC and those guys, and you know, I'm ready to get to work with them come next week.
And in other NFL news, New Orleans Saints quarterback Derek Carr announced his retirement from the NFL on Saturday after 11 seasons due to a shoulder injury he suffered last season against the New York Giants. Carr retiring gave the Saints $30 million in cap relief. The Saints then drafted 25-year-old Tyler Shuck out of Louisville in the second round in this year's draft, and he'll compete for the starting job this season. Tennessee Vols baseball dropped their fourth straight SEC series this weekend as they lose 2-1 against in-state rival Vanderbilt Commodores. It was the first time since 2021 that Vanderbilt has won a series against Tennessee. Next weekend, the Vols will travel to Arkansas for that series. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
RKW 104.5 The Zone, live from Gaylord Springs Golf Links on this gloomy, rainy, drizzly Monday morning in Music City, USA. Alongside Ramon Foster, I'm Will Bowling. Kayla's got the morning off. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. We're going to roast some people coming up in 15 minutes. The Monday Roast is on deck here from Gaylord Springs. Ramon said, if you weren't up with us very early this morning, that he's got a good one today.
I got a good list, man. The best way to do the morning roast, because we do it once a week for everybody to want to call in and basically complain about something in sports or in life. I've actually exempt myself from speaking about you left lane hoggers out there that drive slow. It happens so often. Let's say I even got Kirby with that. It happens so often.
Left lane hoggers.
Yeah, man. That's another word for them, like left lane lizards or whatever you want to call them. Like, it's hard fighting that battle.
You've moved on from that.
And what's crazy is I'll pass them on the right-hand side and stare. And you know what got me? Like, they don't care. They don't care. They're probably on their phones or just zoned out in a way that they don't even realize they're stopping traffic. So I said I'm no longer putting that in my morning roast.
They're closely listening to the radio. They're 104.5 The Zoned Out.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't even want to play that game.
I thought that was good.
I don't even want to play that game, man, of just highlighting them anymore.
All right, well, you just did, so.
You see what I'm saying?
By saying you're not going to highlight them,
you
you
see
just
what I'm doing,
them.
though. Like, you see what I'm doing. Like, yeah, there it is, A-Hawk. There we go, baby. It's just real look elbow check right there. You know what I'm saying? When somebody try to pass you on the track course, you know, just hit them a quick little elbow.
That happened plenty of times.
I would be ready to fight. I'm going to be real with you.
615-737-1045. You can load up the phone lines for the Monday Roast coming up here in 15 minutes. There was a Titans rookie at minicamp over the weekend who was asked why he didn't transfer. Texas tight end Gunnar Helm, I thought, had a great answer about why he stayed at Texas, a guy that didn't even play high school varsity football till his junior season of high school, waited his turn at Texas for his final season as a Longhorn to finally start, and I thought gave a great quote which kind of sums up what the Titans are looking for in the draft process. Here's Gunnar Helm this weekend.
I kind of worked myself into a locker room guy, a culture guy. I like to pride myself on doing things the right way around the facility and off the field. So, I liked being around that group. I really trust and loved my coaches, trusted Coach Sark's vision for me, trusted Coach Banks' vision for me. Coach Mike Bamonte would tell me every day to trust the process. And, while it got hard at some points, it's not some guys don't develop overnight. And, that's just kind of that always kind of lingered in the back of my mind. I had developed throughout high school, too. I didn't even touch the varsity field until I was a junior. And that's when I made the switch to tight end. So, it's not going to happen right away for everybody. Doesn't really matter what level you're at. Could be, middle school, high school, college, or the National Football League. So, every coach that recruits you or signs you or drafts you, they all have a vision for you. And, our job is to just trust that and put in the work every day.
So that's new Titans tight end Gunnar Helm over the weekend at rookie minicamp. Look, everybody can say the right things about I'm a culture guy, I'm a locker room guy, I want to be a leader. And when push comes to shove, we'll see if they really are able to back that up. We'll see what it means. Everybody's a leader and a locker room guy until you lose 4 or 5 games in a row and the chips get down and you've got to show who you really are. However, Ramon, these drafted guys, this draft class is saying all the right things. Yeah. And so far so good in backing up the kind of DNA that Mike Berganzi and this front office valued in the draft process.
And what's crazy is not like they've been thrown, been given the red pill either. As far as like, this is what you say and don't say. These are guys that are speaking about their own personal experiences and who they are. And that seems to me, like you said, well, the type of guys they went after too. Hearing him mention, man, he didn't see the varsity field till his junior year. Hearing him say he built his reputation up as a locker room guy, like it's a lot of pride in how he helped develop himself, and also just the understanding of that too. A lot of guys get impatient and want to hit the field like right now. I'll say this, number one, I don't know where he could have transferred to and why, who else was looking at him and what he could have did in other places. But I'll say this, I think playing in Austin is fun. I think the city would be phenomenal. I think the fan base will be good, too. Sure. So why leave, number one, especially if you know that opportunity is eventually going to come. It takes a special person to know who they are early in life. I'll say that. And it seems to me he knew who he was and was going to have to take a little bit more time to get to that point. But that, to me, to be quite honest with you, is what you need inside of this organization, because we've had this identity crisis conversation time and time again.
Sure. And he had to sit behind Jatavian Sanders, who was quite the player at Texas in 2023 and kind of earned that opportunity and made the most of it, led him in receiving this past season in 2024. So from one player who has earned a bigger opportunity, who waited his turn, to another one who waited his turn at UCLA and then got his job taken by Nico Imaliava. Joey Aguilar on campus today. VolQuest's Austin Price with the report on Saturday that the Tennessee transfer quarterback will be in Knoxville today. Of course, committing Ramon officially on April the 29th. Tennessee officially has a 3-man quarterback competition as of today.
Only problem I have with Austin Price's tweet was he should have just put Joey Aguilar's on campus. Source, me.
Well, you can tell him that tomorrow.
I'll tell him that tomorrow since he's so open to critiques. But that is a good place for the Vols. Again, there's a lot that has to be done. It's going to be fascinating to see what Heupel choose to do with either the offense or the guy, to be quite honest with you, that they want to win the starting job. We're talking about Cam Ward and how, Coach Brian Callahan and Nick Holtz are trying to formulate an offense that shows his strongs, his strong attributes. And that's where, to me, it's going to be a good story to see what Heupel and his staff do moving forward to acclimate him to this offense and team.
It is a good question. Who do you think they want to win the starting job?
Oh, I think it's Joey. I think it's Aguilar. I'll say this. I'm not sure what the new restructured NIL that Jake Merklinger has gotten is, because I would say this, removing myself now from the spring game and the whole situation, I do think is Aguilar and Merklinger first, with George having the ability to still grow.
Right.
That'd be fascinating to see how it actually works out in the end. But I'd expect them to want to go to the guy that's had some experience, and that's Aguilar.
How often do coaches have a guy they want to win competitions?
How often?
Like, how often are open competitions really, truly that? Open competitions?
They're really not, Will.
Really?
I mean, if you got a veteran and let's say a third-year guy that hadn't really cracked it just yet, there might be a situation where, like, this is open for discussion, this position.
Sure.
But as it pertains to coaches, more times than not knowing who they want the starters to be, I would say, and especially at certain positions, too, with scenarios. Running backs, I think you can have that because fumbles and lack of vision can do it for you. But, Will, it sucks to say sometimes. Sometimes you just have to wait. your turn.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's a little bit where Merklinger is, unless he just does some unprecedented things to show them that he's a better guy. But, I mean, why was Josh Dobbs still the quarterback if he didn't practice well? Because Butch wanted him to be out there, right? Like, those types of things make sense. Like, I heard somebody make this argument a little while ago. Like, people are picked for success in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
We don't speak about it. But think about this. Cam's picked to be the starter. Like, there are guys that have played more. But
you know, the Titans have a guy they want to win the starting quarterback job.
First last year in training camp.
Yeah.
Nicholas Petit-Frere probably shouldn't have been that quick of a penciled-in starter at the time.
Sure.
To be quite honest, right? But he was. He was late coming into practice. Hadn't really proved themselves.
Because John Njoku was the offseason award winner who started training camp last year as the starting right tackle.
So all of that talk.
They wanted NPF to win the job.
They wanted NPF to win the job.
Yeah, fair enough.
Is that – I mean, that's a little dark side of –
you would know better than me. That's why I asked the question.
I hate to keep going back to my scenario, but the best way is to give the experiences is this. I didn't play bad when DeCastro was earned given. Earned given is what I call it. Earned given that spot.
Right.
And even so much so that the coach said it wasn't my decision.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
It sucks, but that's just kind of how it is at times.
Well, because that's the beauty of your NFL career was that the Steelers kept trying to find replacements for you, and your play dictated you were not going to be replaced.
You can control it.
And that is what I do think gets the best out of all these guys. Like, do you get a better version of Jake Merklinger because you brought in someone who can really push him? Because I don't think George McIntyre is in that same conversation as those two front guys. And quite frankly, I think that's all right with George. I think George had a plan laid out for him to develop, to get bigger, to put on weight, to learn the offense. You don't want to stunt his growth as a quarterback just because you felt like you could throw him to the wolves this season. Like, you want George to have the process that is best for George long term. Jake is not in that same boat. It's time for Jake to put up or shut up now that Nico Iamaleava is gone. So I think it's interesting because if Joey Aguilar is great and is your starting quarterback, he has one season of eligibility. He's gone, and you've really got a true three-way competition next season between Jake Merklinger, George McIntyre, and Faison Brandon. And Faison Brandon, with no disrespect to Jake or to George, if he does live up to that star ranking, which is, 247 has him the number one player in the country overall, that's the kind of true freshman you could put in right away at quarterback.
And then the way he comes in is the expectation of it, too, right?
And there's a lot of factors that go into that. Like, if George hadn't had 4 offensive coordinators in 4 years, maybe he would still be that level of prospect or that level of guy. But, man, that guy's had to go through a lot of changes in his career as a high school quarterback and had to learn a lot of different offenses. And, the one he was best at sophomore year here locally was the exact same system as Josh Heupel in Tennessee. So it's not one size fits all, but I do think it would be better for Tennessee moving forward if Joey Aguilar was the guy this year, because the last thing you want is for Jake to get his opportunity and either A, not be as good as you hope, or B, be good enough to where one of those other 2 younger guys leaves. Yeah. Like, you would like to have 3 quarterbacks going into 2026 when you, I think, will have a war chest of money to make up for whatever's about to happen in 2025. Like, this feels like the calm before the storm when Tennessee really invests again and says, hey, if they win 7 or 8 games in 2025, we need to invest X amount of dollars to make sure that doesn't happen again.
100% will. It's a tight spot that the Vols are in, especially at that position, the most important position, too. But you're right. And here's the other part, too. I've already removed, my feelings and my old ways of thinking. No, you keep everybody. If Aguilar does get it and Merklinger doesn't get the burn that he wants, in my mind, he's in the portal and starting for somebody else very soon.
That's fair.
Especially with Faison Brandon coming in, too. That's a high-caliber room at that point, though.
No doubt. 615-737-1045 is our number as we continue in hour number 4. Your chance to complain. The Monday Roast is next. RKW 104.5 The Zone, brewed up by Scooters Coffee. We are live at Gaylord Springs Golf Links, the Backfield in Motion golf tournament. You can head online, backfieldinmotion.org, to support these great folks who are making a difference in our community.
Yeah,
Great to be
are.
out here. Ramon, I know we always enjoy being out for this golf tournament. Who's who of Kevin Dyson, Joey Kent, SEC Network's Richard Hendricks, Reggie Barlow, the head coach at TSU. Been a good morning.
Yeah, man, it has been a good morning. By the way, really good conversation with Coach Reggie Barlow. I enjoyed that with him, man, too. And
For sure.
also just the other side of NIL is in transfer portal. A lot of young men don't have schools, and there's schools like TSU and Jackson State and others that will gladly give you the opportunity to play football. And not to seem like it's charity in any sense, but why sit in the portal and wait for the big schools to come get you when you got so many others that's looking for talent?
Very fair. So all of those good things, the after-school programs, the sports for at-risk youth, great things. But right now we complain. We go from positivity to negativity. It is time for the Monday Roast. Six 615-737-1045 is the number for the Monday Roast this morning. Call in and complain about anyone in the world of sports. Ramon Foster has been itching to complain today for this Monday Roast. He's been talking about it since about 6:05 this morning, so we'll let him bat lead off today.
Man, I got so many, I feel like I'm going to take one of yours.
Just empty the clip.
Empty the
no,
clip?
I promise you won't take either of mine. I've got two today.
All right, then. Well, I got some repeat offenders on here, too. That's the thing that sucks about it, all right?
Roast them. Let's hear it.
The Cleveland Browns and their fan base going at Mason Graham right now. By the way, I met a brother this morning, an older gentleman. He was like, man, you hurt my feelings. I was like, why? He was just like, man, you said nothing good comes out of Cleveland.
He's
like,
a Browns fan?
I'm out of Cleveland, and I'm good. And I was like, you know what? That's on me.
Cleveland, Tennessee? Cleveland, Ohio? Really?
I was like, that's on me, my brother.
In this
You're
economy?
right. I know there's some good parts about it, but I told him that's just my AFC North hate on the football side of things. But on the football side of things, their fans are absolutely dogging out the Mason Graham pick right now.
So there's a video of Mason Graham looking very, overweight? Just out of shape? Like, not really overweight. Like
he
the
dropped
guy just,
weight.
Yeah, exactly. And he does not look like a top 5 overall pick.
And that's what they're doing right now. Yeah. So they're railing him for not looking like a top 5. So Cleveland Brown fans, your top 5 pick, boom, roast it right quick. Okay. I have also, Texas made it again.
Did they? What did Texas do?
The University of Texas baseball team, man, they were getting absolutely smacked.
Oh, I saw this, yeah.
Smacked by Florida this past week, man. And the young fella, Jonah Williams.
Yes.
Trash talking. He got a ball through to him, and he's in this, he might be the guy. He might be him, Will. He might be number 1 overall pick. I don't know him like that, okay? But he's kicking the pellets up when a ball was thrown his way.
He's looking at the pitcher, nodding at him.
Nodding at him.
Yeah.
Bro.
It's 7-1.
You're down.
It's 7-1.
Read
Which,
the room.
if you're just joining us, both Ramon and I criticized Tennessee for going after the Vandy players after Vandy won the series yesterday, too. So we are equal opportunity on this criticism.
Easily, man. Florida is shellacking you right now.
That's right.
You don't have room to trash talk.
No.
And I know it's like an individual size of all parts of sports, but in this situation, my brother, you
pipe down.
Pipe down, please. Boom, roasted. Jonah Williams, man.
He took a walk, I think, down 7-0 in like the 6th inning. And every pitch outside the zone, he would like shrug his shoulders up like Juan Soto, look at the pitcher, and just nod like, yeah. Throw me one. Throw me one. So funny,
bro.
man.
This is not going to save the day. Let it go. All right. Who else do I have on? Oh, by the way, all my friends and family, coworkers, and everybody else that I'm around every single day. None of y'all told me the Savannah Bananas was in town. My son turned a teenager
We talked about
this
it
weekend.
last week. I
No,
swear.
the hell we didn't,
Yeah,
Will,
I
okay?
thought we did.
Absolutely did not.
Because Stoney Keeley had the great tweet where he said, I'm not a fan of the Savannah Bananas. Sports shouldn't be about fun little tricks. It should be about hate.
As big as they are, I should have heard more about them,
There
okay?
were 70,000 people who clearly heard because it was sold out in Nissan Stadium.
And not me. That could have been.
You were not one of them. It could have been 70,004.
And Miles' birthday party is what it could have been, man. And we went out and had a good time still. But to everybody that knew the Bananas was coming into town, by the way, shout out to my guy Kevin Long, my neighbor, man. He did offer me up tickets to the place that he has. He has a suite, if I'm not mistaken. And guess what? I couldn't go because I found out too late and the party was already set. So Boom roasted me and Boom roasted y'all too, okay?
We talked about it. We had the discussion.
That's why I'm roasting myself then, okay?
Fair enough.
That's on me.
You're an equal opportunity roaster.
Never will ever make excuses for my mistakes, okay?
Peyton and I went on a walk yesterday, like around Germantown, and we walked through the farmer's market, which lovely time, actually. I've never done like the walk through the farmer's market, kind of like Sunday afternoon. If there wasn't 50 kids there in little Savannah Bananas jerseys and hats,
I'd have loved
they stuck around for Sunday. They're everywhere. Everywhere around Middle Tennessee this past weekend.
I'd have loved to have been a part of that crowd.
Well, did you see the Party Animals, the team they played, not only won, they did Slow Rocky Top. Did you see that?
I did.
They did a lip sync to Slow Rocky. You would have been losing your mind. There's one thing that Ramon Foster loves. It is the slow version of Rocky Top.
With black jerseys.
Well, yeah. Well, usually those two are in the same situation.
By the way, didn't save the Vols. Boom roasted this weekend.
No, they did not.
There it is.
Did not save Tennessee baseball against Vandy.
I got a couple more for you if you're ready for this one.
Well,
okay.
hit me. Come on.
By the way, Cleveland beat writer. Okay. Again, I told you we had some repeat offenders out
You could have just lumped Cleveland into one, but let's go back around.
This guy deserves his own. He deserves his own little
who's
part
the beat
of this.
writer?
Chris Easterling.
Okay.
As Dylan Gabriel's done, now you know where I'm headed. Now you know where I'm headed, Will. I understand my role. I'm a retired player. I'm not competing or comparing with anybody, okay? But as someone that's probably never played football at a high level, okay, respectfully I say this, you shouldn't be in a position to short shame somebody, okay? As Dylan Gabriel's done with this person, he walks by the media group that was there, and Chris Eastland gets caught on camera saying, I'm taller than him. And he not just said it once, but 2 or 3 times. He said, I'm taller than him. Yeah, well, his signing bonus is probably more than you ever made in your life, tall king. Leave the short king alone, man. We know Dylan Gabriel's vertically challenged, but it's not on you being a beat writer to dog him out. He's already dealing with the Shador stuff. Like, what are we doing here?
I feel bad for Dylan Gabriel.
On top of Dylan, on top of Dylan Sampson and the running back from Ohio State.
Crenshaw
Junkins doing the Rolex thing in front of Dylan Gabriel while Shador's over there too. Like, let Dylan live. Boom, roasted.
So did you hear Kevin Stefanski did a long press conference over the weekend where he was asked about who is taking the first reps at rookie minicamp. Because it was Dylan Gabriel. Why isn't Shador taking the first reps? Well, because we decided to go with Dylan. So will it be saying tomorrow? He was like, I couldn't tell you. And I just saw somebody tweeted it and say, yeah, this is why Shador fell to the 5th round. Yeah.
Like, I got one more, but I'm gonna wait, man. I'm hogging too much airtime right now. But Cleveland, that's 2 in 1 day.
2 in 1 week for Cleveland.
Hey, 3 in 2 weeks.
Justin, what you got for us today?
Yeah, let's go to the MLB where, I don't know if you guys saw this, the Cincinnati Reds on, Saturday beat the Houston Astros 13-9. And the starting pitcher, Lance McCullers Jr., allowed, 9 runs in the first, or 7 runs in the first inning. There was 10 runs allowed in the first inning altogether.
Ugh.
And Astros fans, well, they didn't like that. Death threats.
Oh, my gosh.
Death threats to not only McCullers Jr. and his family. And so he was really taken aback by it in his post-game press conference, as well as the manager there. McCullers hasn't played a game since Game 3 of the 2022 World Series. He had some elbow problems. So the manager basically said, hey, let's cut him some slack. He's still got some rust to shake off. But come on, Astros fans. Like, what are we doing here? You got to be roasted for that one.
I say in May, not like there is any ever a good time to do that, obviously, but that takes a special kind of psycho to do that in a May base. But there's 162 of these.
I know.
There'll be 161 more.
Yeah.
Like, I get sports is serious to a lot of folks around here, but it's not that serious.
Ridiculous.
Come on. Like, let's get the police involved. I'm sure somebody's going to get paid for it.
Crazy.
Never okay for the death threats.
Yeah, no. That's awful.
You can say a player can get injured maybe, but like dying out there or family threats, man.
No, don't even say they could get injured.
I mean, I know, but that's top of the line of line stepping, and people are going to do it regardless.
I know. Crazy. Justin, what else you got?
So I was actually going to go a little bit along the lines on the Savannah Bananas because a little bit differently than what Ramon's going with, those ticket prices are insane.
Oh, yeah, they
For
are.
a 70,000-seat stadium, you're going to ask for $100+ for the worst seat possible?
Wow.
No, thank you.
How expensive was it to get in there?
It was up there. That's all I know, and every event is like that too. I'd love to give you a figure, Will, but you pretty much got to start a payment plan.
So if I go look on, all right, the next place the Savannah Bananas are going is Kansas City. They're playing the Firefighters. So I guess the party, I didn't realize there were more than one team that they played against. Kansas City, Missouri, Memorial Day weekend. How much do we think the cheapest ticket is on StubHub for Savannah Bananas in Kauffman Stadiums? This is not one of their football stadium ones. Savannah Bananas against the Firefighters on Friday, May 23rd.
$170.
I'm going to go $92.
You're both under. $215.
Yeesh.
$215. The next one I'm seeing is $385.
Yeah, right.
That's ridiculous. I looked Saturday night because my family and we went to the Nashville SC game, which shout out to Nashville SC. 2-1 win. But I looked on the way to see what the ticket prices were. The cheapest ticket to get in, at least right before game time to Nissan Stadium, was $98.
Good night.
Yeah, I'm a pass.
For Saturday, May 24th, Memorial Day weekend, $264, the cheapest ticket. Wow, that's crazy. Well, congrats to anybody who was able to do that. That's awesome. I hope you got them early and didn't get price gouged on the resale market.
Well, that's the thing. They sell out so fast on the site.
Right.
Yeah,
then it just goes up.
Ramon, you thinking twice about going?
I'm glad I didn't.
I could see you in that yellow jersey just rocking
We are
it.
unroasted. Many of us are
I save my little coins.
Coworkers and yourself, unroasted this
buddy.
morning. I'm going to start with ESPN's social media. Did you guys see Mitchell Robinson in this Game 3 between the Knicks and the Celtics? So Mitchell Robinson is like an under 40% free throw shooter. He is terrible. He was at the line in the second quarter of Game 3 in the series where the Celtics were leading. In his playoff career, Mitchell Robinson shoots 34%. This was after he'd already started 0 for 4 in the game. So a bunch of the celebrities stand up and start applauding for Mitchell Robinson, kind of like they do when the walk-ons get in at the end of a college basketball game. And it's like, let Kyle shoot it. Kyle. Well, this is what they were doing for Mitchell. Mitchell. And ESPN tweets, the Knicks crowd supported Mitchell Robinson while he was at the free throw line. Orange heart. Quote, bigger than basketball. Bigger than basketball? What do you mean? All this is basketball. This is not a senior getting an opportunity to play on varsity for the first time, who was the manager for the first 2 years, who finally gets a chance to play because it's the final game of the year and it's senior night. This is a professional basketball player. This is not charity. What are we bigger than basketball? Like, he didn't survive some great trauma. He didn't get his right hand cut off in a tragic accident. This isn't Jason Pierre-Paul blowing off appendages, blowing off fingers. What are we doing? ESPN, you're roasted. That's bigger than basketball.
He's a pro.
All it is shooting a basketball. He'll be fine.
Western
He'll be
Kentucky
all right.
alum, by the way.
Sure.
Not really alum.
I have no issue with the fans cheering for him and trying to motivate him, but ESPN, like, bigger than basketball. What are we doing?
This is why Rich Eisen is back. Put the adults back in charge, Will.
That tweet from ESPN has 18 million views. It has 918 replies, 1,900 retweets, 14,000 likes.
Oh, man.
Crazy.
What nuts.
Crazy.
Nuts.
I would also like to roast this morning rivalries that aren't actually rivalries. If you were in Geodis Park on Saturday night, you saw Nashville SC score 2 goals in 5 minutes to beat Charlotte FC. Look, everyone has their favorite team and a team that plays them that you don't consider it a rivalry, but the team playing you just hates you.
Little bro.
It just eats them up. That's exactly what Charlotte FC is to Nashville SC. For those of you who are unfamiliar, they tried to put out a snarky little tweet before the game that says, you know why they made these seats different colors, right? to try to say that it hides empty seats. Hey, Charlotte, you don't get to talk about other stadiums when you don't even have your own, buddy. All you have is a 70,000-seat stadium that you just fill up a little bit of the lower bowl for, and sometimes they let you open up the upper deck sections, but that's the home of the Carolina Panthers, a second-rate NFL franchise. You get more people in there going to neutral site college football games. Heck, I'm sure SMU in the ACC had more fans in that stadium than you do for your soccer matches over the weekends. You think this is a rivalry with Nashville? Well, we reminded you exactly what you are over the weekend. Nashville SC, 2-1, 2 goals in 5 minutes in front of a packed crowd. Nashville, who is consistently in the top 5 or 6 in attendance every year in the largest soccer-specific stadium in the U.S., Canada. Boom, roasted. Charlotte FC, sit down over there. We don't need you.
Let's
Get back in the corner.
Let's go.
Nashville SC up to 5th in the Eastern Conference table.
By the way, whoever's running Nashville SC's Twitter account.
Oh, yeah. They got
good.
They pointed out when you Google Bank of America Stadium, here's what pops up. The description says it is the home of the Carolina Panthers and college football games. Oof.
And what? They didn't mention. They didn't mention North Carolina SC. What are we calling them now?
Charlotte FC.
Charlotte FC.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I remember asking some members of the coaching staff last year. It was 2 years ago, first season, before I kind of knew. I was like, so, these guys, big game today. Like, do you kind of like, is this kind of rivalry to you guys? I got laughed at.
You got laughed at?
No, 100%.
Oh, my gosh.
No.
Well, see, that's why somebody else had to get roasted.
Not a rivalry. Not a rivalry. Yeah, Nashville SC quote tweeted this the other day when they sent that tweet out. It highlights, says, Bank of America Stadium on Google Maps, 74,000-seat football stadium, home of the NFL's Carolina Panthers and host of college teams.
Jeez.
So
they're not even included.
At least when you search Jonas Park, you know who plays there.
Little bro.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
Bro.
Hey, that was solid, man. I got another one to cap us off if you're ready for it.
Let's do it after the break.
Let's do it after.
615-737-1045. The final call for phone calls this morning. Ramon Foster's very heavy Monday roast will continue after this.
It's Ramon Foster for Secure Lawn. Good people, man. This is the company that you want to book with for a lot of different reasons, man. If you like me, you want the best yard in the neighborhood, you most definitely need to give them a call because here's what they want to do. They want to provide you with a service that'll keep you a lifelong customer with them. So you know that means they're very good at their job. And whether that's getting those weeds out, that broadleaf, that crabgrass, listen, I absolutely hate it. But what I tell you this, my yard looks good, it's thick, it's healthy right now, and it's because they do a really good job. If you need your trees trimmed or shrubs planted, though, you got to call somebody else because Secure Lawn doesn't do that. But if you want your grass to look like something out of a magazine, this is where they specialize at with knowing what fertilizers and weed control to put down. Other cool part about Secure Lawn is this. They're family-owned and operated and local. They've been servicing Middle Tennessee for over 20 years. They're punctual, have a quick response time, and they always answer whenever you call. They're just good. Whether you have residential, commercial, or even athletic fields, or whatever kind of grass it could be, Bermuda, fescue, doesn't matter, rye. They can cover all bases, man. Reach out to them. You can call them at 615-893-8455 or go to securelawn.com.
RKW brewed by Scooters Coffee, wrapping up the show this morning. If you need that Monday pick-me-up, maybe that's coffee, maybe that's a cinnamon roll. Scooters Coffee's got you covered. They're locally owned near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Ramon Foster, this show has gone amazingly fast for us today.
Yes, it has. It's flew by today, man. Sound like an old person, old people. They flew by.
We get out in on location. The inside cats get let outside, and all of a sudden, the show flies by.
Yeah,
here
it
at
did
Gaylord
fly
Springs
by.
today.
Good show today.
You had one more Monday roast for the people this morning.
I did, man. It's baseball related, man.
Okay.
Goes to the Colorado Rockies. They have lost 6 of their last 7 games, but here are their losses too. This, mind you, these scores are from a professional baseball team out of the MLB, and the Rockies have a good bit of history too. But they lost 8-6, 10-2, 11-1, 13-9, and then 21-0 to the Padres before firing their manager, Bud Black. Man, just sad. They are 7-33 in their last 40 games. Just to let you know, it's the worst start since 1988. Bud, by the way, Bud Black, and maybe he's run his course there as their manager just in general, but he's also their winningest manager in Colorado Rockies history. You want to know what his record is, Will?
Not good.
It is 544 to 690. Boom. Roasted.
You can let the record speak for itself.
Yeah, the 7th game that they won was to the Padres, a non-deciding series win. But it's also, as most people like to say, it's the fired coach bump, too, that they ended up winning that game by. So, Colorado Rockies, I know a lot of VFLs, well, a couple of VFLs is on that team. It's just bad baseball right now. But firing coach just for a third of the season, I mean, what was the first quarter of the season? It's not a good look.
No, it's not great.
Boom, roasted. Colorado.
We've got the Nashville SC fans going this morning. Kyle tweets at us. Vamos NSC 13 says, at Ramon Kayla Will roasting Charlotte with a capitalized L FC admin on a Monday morning for trying to force a rivalry. You're dang right. Yeah. Dang right, we will. Absolutely. Nashville SC back at it Wednesday night, by the way. A quick turnaround. New York Red Bulls at home this week.
Do the middle of the week games hold the same stock as the weekend ones, Will?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Still worth the same amount of points.
Okay.
These ones are.
Still worth the same amount of points.
3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, none for a loss. So, Red Bulls, one of the only teams Nashville has never beaten, who's coming to town on Wednesday.
Out of New York?
That's right. Harrison, New Jersey.
Is it
specific?
Marketing, funding, better players? Like, is this
it's
like
style.
style?
Their style has always clashed with Nashville's. They're a really high press team.
Okay.
They are affectionately known as energy drink soccer for a reason. They press the entire game. It's just a really difficult style to play against. So we've got a lot of draws against them. We just haven't beaten them yet. So hopefully Wednesday's the night.
A draw. Don't get Don Davenport started.
No, I won't.
Do not.
Somewhere she just shuddered.
He just shuddered. We play a game and don't win. That is actually very fascinating. You know, that approach. I wonder why. Is it just because, I don't know, football is hard too.
Yeah.
It's Europe. Kirby from left field.
Kirby Allen Kirby not into the beautiful game discussion this morning. If you missed it, Eagles will host the Cowboys at the 2025 NFL season opener. That'll be Thursday, September the 4th. It is schedule release week. Wednesday, the schedule comes out, but Ramon, I really feel like it's kind of like when an artist has a big album coming out, but they release so many singles, but when the time the album comes out, you're really just listening to like 3 new songs.
Yeah,
we get all the singles before the full schedule release happens, then we just learn like the other 20% of games that we haven't already learned so far.
No doubt, and I like the surprise of it too because I'm for all things NFL in a sense. But legitimately, I hope they hold off on all the leaks, man. As far as like the entire schedule, I want to be just as surprised as everybody else does. And those dudes that do that on social media, like let us cook and enjoy and be surprised.
Yeah, sure.
We're not asking for much out here, man.
The only way you're not going to be surprised is to stay off of the social media.
Well, and two, like a lot of those leaks end up being wrong.
Dude, yeah.
Like some years those NFL schedule leak Twitter accounts have some hits, but like they also have a lot of misses that they probably don't get as much criticism for as they should. A reminder, the Titans' 2025 opponents outside the division at home this year, you will get the Chargers, Chiefs, Patriots, Rams, Saints, and Seahawks. On the road this season, you will get Arizona, Denver, Cleveland, San Francisco, and Las Vegas, in addition to the AFC South.
I was telling you, for the person that doesn't have to play anymore, this is a really good road schedule. I like where they're going. Yeah, the place that they're going has got a lot of variety. It's not like you just
West
up
Coast
on the
here.
East Coast. West Coast, definitely, man. But Denver's such a dope trip.
Really?
No pun intended right there, considering the legality.
Such a dope trip.
Kirby put his hat backwards on that one. It's such a dope trip. It's legal is all I'm saying, but that's not the reason. But it's such a cool trip. I shouldn't say dope. I'm talking about.
Let's weed out
Denver.
these comments, please.
Hey,
okay?
now, better not strike up that conversation. My girl's losing. Give me some,
set
right?
That
Give me
conversation ablaze.
There we go.
So you'll have 2 road preseason games and 1 home preseason game with the 9 home games and 8 road games on the 2025 schedule. So we'll get that this week.
I got another Cleveland roast if you don't mind.
How many Cleveland roasts can you have in one day?
Are you okay?
It's what the sports world presents.
This is how
to
you know
us.
he's very okay when he roasts the city of Cleveland this much. You gonna talk about the Cavs?
Yes.
Go for it.
Absolutely got
You got 30
rolled
seconds,
yesterday,
go.
man. Like, how do you guys become, if I'm not mistaken, the number 1 seed out of the East? Absolutely smoke everybody doing the Western side of things and get to the second
Injuries,
round of the playoffs.
Right? Darius Garland's been hurt.
They were back.
Donovan Mitchell
They were
got
back
hurt.
and got whooped worse
Donovan
yesterday,
Mitchell
Will.
injured his ankle
Ain't
yesterday.
trying to hear it.
Look, I know ball.
You roll the
I
ball
know
out,
ball.
run up, and get done up is what they've been doing. So much so, Will, we're talking about 80 points in the first half.
Oh, that's not great.
Giving up yesterday. And they walked it down slowly and had a gentleman's loss,
like
129 to
2
109.
whole games of Konzo Martin basketball.
Bro,
Tennessee.
what are we? Yeah.
80 points.
Seriously, at this point. But seriously, Darius Garland was back. Like, they had their group, and I know Donovan Mitchell was out or whatever the case may be. But, y'all, this is why I say what I say about the city and the sports. Not the people, the sports. Boom, roasted again.
All right, there you go. That's
3 in one day for Cleveland.
Triple roast on Cleveland. We are back at it tomorrow morning in studio. VolQuest's Austin Price will join us. More takeaways from Titans practices getting started. Lots to discuss. We will see you back in studio 6 a.m. bright and early tomorrow morning, Ramon Foster.
No doubt, good people. Remember at all times, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.